Well, good evening, everyone. If you're tuning in here already, it's time for Danville Dashers hockey. Well, almost time anyway. Down here at the David S. Palmer Arena at the corner of hockey and comedy. I'm here with my glorious co-host, Dennis Michelson. Mr. D. Mike, how you doing this evening?
I am doing fantastic, and I am getting ready for a big game. And, you know, the tally, the over-under on me mispronouncing the name of the team we're playing today has been set at 2.5. So I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, that is good shape. That's not too bad. I can't even count the amount of times I mispronounced it last year until I was gratefully informed that it's Menor and not Mentor, as I would so often think Common English dictates. Either way, I'm a big fan.
Beautiful part of the great state of Ohio there, right up tucked along the lake. It's a beautiful area. I've actually been through there, and it's actually known for being the first campaign launching for our 20th president, James Garfield. So I bet you didn't know that.
I did not know that. I've been up in that area, though. It's really pretty up there. Anything along Lake Michigan, it seems like, minus a few cities that remain unnamed, can be pretty just about no matter what is there. And what we're expecting tonight is going to be a pretty hockey game here tonight at the David S. Palmer Arena. The Menor Icebreakers on the road here against our Danville Dashers. Going to be a great game. The last game between these two teams was a high-scoring affair. Let me tell you, it was a lot of fun. It was on the road, but basically we're expecting a similar offensive production tonight if all goes as planned, I would assume.
Battle of the second-place teams. Second-place teams from both divisions, and it sounds kind of silly to say this time of the year because we're still early in the season. But if you look at the standings for both divisions right now, it's quite a battle for second place. In these kinds of games where you have to defend your home ice. And so a big game for the Danville Dashers, because when you go on the road in this league, anything can happen. So you got to defend the home ice. And with a couple of new additions in uniform for the Dashers, I think the home team should have a pretty good game tonight.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think they're ready to come out. They had a solid outing last weekend here after a hard road trip where they actually were shut out coming around, and they came back and won a close game here against Port Huron. The last game between these two teams ended in a 7-4 score in favor of Menor. Of course, that was on the road in Ohio. Another noteworthy storyline here, Parker Moscow, 27 points on the season, the second point getter on the Menor team with 9 goals and a massive 18 team-leading assists. Will not play tonight, Dennis.
Yeah, big loss from their lineup. And Coach said if you look at the statistics from this Menor Icebreaker team, you get most of the production out of one line. And that's where he said his defense is going to have to be extra strong. And he's hoping that one of the new additions in the starting lineup for tonight, Mitch Atkins, can actually help take a little bit of the load off of Mr. Fred Hine, who has just been unbelievable over the course of the last week.
Yeah, absolutely, and over the course of the season as well. A lot of new additions here for the Dashers in the recent weeks, but the two most worth mentioning here, of course, you mentioned them recently here. Nigel Slade, Christers Bormanis coming into the team in the last few weeks. They are already in the top 6 point getters for this Dashers team, and now Tyler Quintos and Mitch Atkins will be hoping to do the same. I got the chance to talk to Mitch. He said he is really excited to come into this atmosphere and play in front of a lot of great Dasher fans. I think they're going to be here for him. Maybe a smaller crowd tonight, a lot going on in the arena area, but that doesn't stop them from getting loud. Let me tell you, I think Atkins and Quintos are in for quite a good night here in front of the Dasher faithful.
Yeah, and they had a chance to practice with the team this week, which is a big key. When you add players, sometimes just the travel and getting set up in your new locale, you don't have a chance to really hit the ice and work out with your home team guys. But they did have a chance to work here, and you know, I think we're going to see pretty quick. We're going to see them integrated into the lineup, just as we have had for Nigel Slade and Chris Bormanis. have been just amazing additions to this club, and I think we're going to see the same from this series of newcomers tonight.
And playing a lot of minutes already are these two guys that have come newly into the team, Nigel and Christers, of course, and I would not doubt that we're going to see Mitch Atkins. He slides already into the starting lineup, and Tyler Quintos pretty much in the six-man role on the lineup, one of the first names on the sheet, play a significant amount of minutes as well. A high-scoring Menor Icebreakers team that's coming into this game. It's going to be a very fun matchup to watch them go against Dashers goalie, and he has been lightning this season. Jesse Gordachuk, 14 games played, 6 wins, 5 losses, and a 2.53 goals against average. That's one of the top averages in the FPHL, saving 93.3% of shots on his net, and some of his shots that we've seen, they're not his fault when they go in. He's had a stellar year, even in nights that he's been on the unforgiving side of some weird puck bounces here at the arena.
Here at home, you can count on one hand the number of first-timer goals that he's given up. Most of the rest of the goals that have been cashed in, there haven't been many, have come on second or third chances when he's down and out and his defense just didn't make the play for him. The Dashers offense, a lot of that has come through the power play. While they are not the best at converting on power plays, they've been one of the top teams in drawing penalties this year. But these Menor Icebreakers have been incredibly stingy. 86% success rate on the on the penalty kill. That's just incredible, and at the top of the league stats for that figure as well.
Yeah, actually the only area of the team stats where Danville has the lead is in power play percentage, with .236 on the board of times they score, of course, stopping about 80% of their penalty kill attempts here. And Danville, not heavily penalized last week. They did a great job in the games against Port Huron, but they're going to have an equally tough challenge tonight. There's guys on this Menor team that can flat out fly. Mark Essery, fun to watch come down. Brody Duncan, a big defender there in the back for them, and someone that I've been watching the last 2 seasons and I really enjoy watching. He's a fighter, but he's also a very fun guy to watch play. Declan Conway, he's going to be wearing number 22 tonight for Menor. He is really fun to watch, and there's a lot of fun scorers to watch on this team. So even missing Parker Moscow, I think they're going to have enough guys in there that we could see a very high-scoring game if things don't go correctly for the Dashers on defense.
Yeah, Conway with 11 goals, 14 assists already this season. It's just been incredible. And he's not even the top scorer on the team. So it just tells you the kind of firepower this Menor Icebreakers team has.
Firepower and defense. Before we get the starting lineups here, I want to mention Austin Roudebush, 9 wins, 5 losses on the season, 2.87 goals allowed a game, stopping about 91.5% of shots on his goal. He is, without a doubt, claimed the starting goalie here for Menor, and he's going to be a force tonight. They're going to have to really work on the Dasher end to beat him.
It's going to be an incredible game. Both teams coming in here off a win. So, the momentum, I'm not sure anybody's got the momentum coming into tonight's game. One thing we did see positive from the Dashers in their last game is that they played from start to finish with no lulls. That's the first time we've seen that at home here this year. Usually we've seen them go into that 2 to 3 minute period of time where they just look slower, and just off their game, but we didn't see any of that last week.
No, we sure didn't, as we get the starting lineup here from Mr. Tommy B up in the big box. We'll let him call it out for you.
Comes into our house and pushes us around.
As the Danville Dashers take on your Danville Dashers. Starting lineup for your Dashers. Starting in defense from the city of New York, number 11, Alex Palmerville.
Alex Palmerville, one of the starting defensemen here for the Dashers. No surprise there. He's going to slot in at the left defense spot. Coming on to his other side, it's going to be Seth Ensor, who's had a couple very, very good nights and some great defensive shifts. And He comes out there and stands right next to his defensive partner. Those guys have built quite the chemistry since we've seen a few noticeable injuries. Ben Bukal out for a little while now for the Dashers. Ended up starting before he was injured. So Seth Ensor really stepped up and filled in that spot. Coming out also Seth Ensor out there with Alex Palmerville. Nigel Slade, the starting center tonight, getting the nod, with Fred Hine moving over to the wing to adjust for the incoming Mitch Atkins, who's going to be on the right wing wearing number 8 for you, with, of course, Jesse Gordy-Gordichuk playing in the goal spot for the Dashers. Over on the Menor side of things, Roudebush starting in goal, Stuart Dant starting at left wing, Mark Essery on the right wing, Farrington at center, Duncan at left defense, and Diaz at the right defense. Captain, obviously, Farrington for Menor, a force on both ends playing in the center position, gets the start tonight with Butita getting a little bit of rest. He is their leading goal scorer, though. He's going to come right off the bench. You hope to see him pretty early if you're Menor. As we pause for the national anthem here.
For our national anthem, performed on the ice by Mr. Kurt Kaiser. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rent the air, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Stick taps all around for that performance of the American National Anthem from Mr. Kurt Kaiser. I've known Kurt a long time now, and I'm still always just in awe of his vocal ability. I wish I had a quarter of that talent, let me tell you, but don't tell him that because it'll go to his head very easily. Don't tell him I said that, Dennis.
His performance always gives me goosebumps. He just gets this crowd so into it, and just an amazing, amazing voice. We're lucky to have him.
Well, I forgot to mention our Danville Township Youth Player Spotlights. Carter Pierman from the Junior Dashers. He was out there with the team a little bit ago. Kurt Kaiser, obviously, with the national anthem. No ceremonial puck drop for us tonight. The first puck dropped will be game on here at the David S. Palmer Arena.
It's going to be a good one tonight, folks. And, of course, if you're in the area and you're listening, it's not too early to get over here to the David S. Palmer Arena and certainly make a date for tomorrow night.
And Nigel Slade wins his first faceoff as the center. Palmerville collects the puck. Tries to fire it through to Slade. Instead, it's going to find the corner here. Pushed down by Menor. It's going to be collected there by Ensor, wearing the big 71 tonight. Dashers back in their black jerseys after the special theme jerseys last night. Man, those were sharp, and these are sharp too. Fred Hine throws one down into the corner. It's going to get as far as the wing there, and Menor is able to recover. Now coming down the other way is Mark Essery. Essery with a shot, and that one is blocked off the stick of Brad Denny all the way up to the Carl banner there in the far side.
When you get two very evenly matched teams in a game like this, these first 2 or 3 minutes sort of can set the tone for the night, and so far, nobody really has grabbed an edge.
Not quite yet. Now Butita in the center circle here against Slade. It's won by Menor. Clouston over here in the corner sends it down and around. It's going to get all the way around into the corner. Just a little too much sauce on that egg roll there. Back behind the net here, Brad Denny going to collect. Make that Johan Hoagland. Back into Menor. A few sloppy passes here early. Nick Gullo forces one out, but it's going to be shot down the ice by Menor. This one's going to be collected by Butita as Denny didn't quite get there in time. Denny and Hoagland out there on defense for the Dashers now. Hoagland with a nice move to get out of some trouble there. Menor really pushing for this ice as this puck gets to Conway, who sends it back down. A pass to the flesh is put right in with Conway. We talked about him before the game, and he comes out and scores within a minute and a half.
Big press on for Menor, and they just kept harassing the Danville Dashers defense till they turned the puck all over right and back of the net. An easy pass out front, and old Gordachuk didn't have a chance on that one. It's 1-0.
That pass right into the crease. There was nothing Jesse Gordachuk could have done about that one. As the Dashers fall down behind 18:46 off on the clock here in the first period. That pass picked up briefly by Danville. Instead, back to Menor. Tries to fire a backhanded wrister there on the net. That one gets all the way back to Dmitry Daniliuk. Menor with an errant pass there. Now coming the other way with it. That one stopped up a little bit there by Tesserero. It gets over the sideline though. Pinkowski now fires it down into the crease. That one's going to be collected by Gordachuk, who elects to freeze it.
Probably a good move there. The Danville Dashers defense just seemed out of sorts heading into that play. And Menor putting the pressure on early here. Real impressive start by the road team.
Smart strategy to come right out. You try and punch the home team in the mouth and see what you can do with it. Dashers now coming the other way. That pass is going to make its way to Hine. Narrowly evades an offside there. Slade fires one on. That one's blocked up into the net behind the goal.
Really impressed the way Slade and Hine have been playing really well together. You'd think they started the season on the same line because they're really in sync.
You could almost think that they started a couple years ago on the same line. They've really been at it. Slade in the face-off circle now with Farrington. Slade wins it, but it comes all the way back past Palmerville, past the blue line of the Dashers. Palmerville back to collect and comes back with it. Palmerville to Hine, and sloppy pass there by Fred Hine, but instead it gets to Atkins anyway. Atkins out here in his first home game as a Dasher. First game as a Dasher. Good way to start. Farrington on the puck now. Passes to the left wing of Menor. As that one's fired down now behind Jesse Gordachuk as far as Farrington. Who passes to Essery. It's broken up, though, by Brad Denny. Actually, Nigel Slade coming back for it. Brad Denny on that last check, though, pushing off puck. That one comes dangerously in front of the Dasher goal there, but no one really on the other end of it. Menor really applying a press, and Danville can't seem to break it. Atkins coming the other way. He's in a foot race to get to it. Doesn't win it out. Instead, it's almost snatched out of the air by Menor. Comes back down as it's pushed down by Brad Denny. Nick Gullo fighting for it. That one is tipped up and over the glass there by Menor. And it's going to come back down for a face-off.
And the referee quick to say that it was deflected off of a Danville stick, but the Menor player initiating that play. So the face-off will stay in the offensive end for the Dashers.
Gullo going to get the face-off pull here, as he had to adjust, I do believe, his necklace. Must have been hanging out. Gullo on it, 94 now. Menor wins it, and then loses it again, and they're going to recollect down by behind the goal as Gullo tries to fight for that one. Instead, Menor coming away with it. Butita trying to get to this one. He's going to be in a foot race with Hoagland, as Hoagland puts it out to Quintos. Quintos a little bit too far on the stretch pass there, and we're going to have a delayed offside waved off there as it's touched up. Quintos now with it, as Quintos plays it along the boards to Gullo. Gullo passes over. It's just lost a little bit there. And now behind with it are the Dashers. Turn right over to Menor. Can't seem to connect any passes here as Brad Denny is going to recollect as Menor gets a shift change.
And coming with the big pressure again.
And Zach McKenna playing a little bit of pressure there on that one. The Dasher pass is picked off almost, tipped up, but just a little bit too far as the Dasher defense has just enough time to recover before they lose it again. And now fighting for it, Baraka was trying to push him off of it. Denny. That's behind to Johan Hoagland behind there. make that Logan Hallgood. Sorry, still getting used to this. Coming back here as that one's freezed up along the boards. Looks like we're going to have an offside call.
Men are putting so much pressure on the Dashers in their defensive end. That's how they got that first goal. The flip side of that, though, is if the Dashers can figure that out, they're going to get some odd man breaks.
It all comes down to winning those face-offs and being able to connect a few passes and run in the counterattack. Something the Dashers have been good at this year, so it'll be interesting to see how they react here.
So far the passes have just not been right on the tape.
Mark Essery flows one down there. It's only going to get as far as Murray. Murray brings it around as the Dashers come the other way. Unable to break the defensive pressure as well are the Dashers. They can't seem to touch anything up. Coming with it, trying to find Slade here. Slade coming down with the puck now. Fires it back across the middle, almost finds Hine. Instead, a point shot, it almost evades the hand of Roudebush. Puck flipped up and all the way down the other side as Hallgood's going to come back with it. Hallgood with a nice deke there to get out of trouble before it's touched up again. Puck goes up into the air, and now coming the other way is Danville. On it now is Nick Gullo. Gullo is holding it well with going against four people. Gullo uses speed and a deke to get around it and still hold on to the puck. Just overskates it just so slightly. And the Dashers are going to be forced to retreat here on the defensive side. Puck sent all the way back, a soccer pass there off the boot of the Danville defenseman. On it was Palmerville. Palmerville moonlights with the Danville Dashers soccer affiliate, the Danville Dashettes. Actually, no, he doesn't. That one's going to come all the way back down to Roudebush to be frozen for a face-off.
Nick Gullo with real impressive moves in the offensive end that time. A little shenanigans with Henry Berger roughing him up after the play, behind the play. Going to be interesting to watch those two as the game wears on.
In the face-off circle for Menor, Alexander Morrow with Nick Gullo in there. It's won by Morrow and kicked out to the defenseman, number 26. That'll be Joseph Keenan. Menor able to have a nice defensive possession there and recovers well to put it on the offensive, but it's turned over right now to the Dashers. Back out to the point. A shot from the point is up in the air and played with a high stick is going to come back down. The Dashers able to pick it up. Gullo on it now. Smart play with the high stick, though, even though to get it out of the dangerous space right there in front of the goal where you never know what bounce can happen. Coming down the ice now, Menor. And that one's tipped all the way in for a shift change. Ensor going to get to it first, but not without being chased by Federley, who throws himself into the boards hard. Pass off the boards to Menor and a pass off the boards to Danville as they're unable to control anything. Levi Armstrong on it now. Tips it up to Tesserero, who tries to play it with a high skate, but no luck on connecting with that. Coming the other way, Menor. As that's passed around the boards, incidentally, back to the Dashers as well. Menor elects to hold it back in the defense. Back there, Henry Berger throws that one down. It's going to come all the way down to Palmerville. He's going to skate with it. Palmerville and Ensor out there still. That one's going to come to Barakov, though, who comes down the ice. He's going to have a whack at it, and that's off the blocker there of Roudebush. Menor now coming the other way, a 2-on-2 situation, as that one's scooped up nicely by Gordachuk.
Nice stop by Gordy. That was a good opportunity on the counterattack for Menor. But that was the first time we've seen the Dashers really succeed in connecting on a couple of passes to get the puck deep into the attack zone.
1-0, 13-11 here in the first period as the Dashers come on the offensive side of things. Nigel Slade almost does a nice job at getting to that one. Instead, on it now is going to be Mitch Atkins already creating a play. That one's going to come back for a face-off. Back to the face-off circle here. It's going to be Slade going up against Nate Farrington. Farrington wins out as Slade loses it. Back to the Dashers, though. Almost a nice pass through the crease there. Instead, Menor's going to break with it. They're going to have numbers if they move quickly. Instead, it's off the boot there of Federley and pushed back down by the Dashers, laying chase Slade. Hine puts a man into the boards there. Hine and Federley actually went at it a few times last year. Not fight, but just jawing back and forth. A vague memory. This was a heated contest last year, and it's already a heated contest this year.
Menor must have seen something on the tape of how the Dashers handle the puck in their own zone because they're really pressing every chance they have.
And it's worked out so far. 12-17 left in the first period. This one's carried over here by Atkins. Back to Hine. Hine on it now. Hine with a nice deke to bring it back around. Hine looking to pick a pass. Almost does. Finds Atkins. And that comes back out to Hine right off the bat. A shot off the ankle there of Alexander Morrow. He comes up a little bit gimp, but skates it off like no problem. Nick Gullo on it now. Gullo turns it over to Conway.
Fred Hine has a knack of finding open ice.
All the way back down the ice. No icing as it's tipped up. Quintos on it. It's going to come all the way around the ice. Nick Gullo's going to have a break here. He's got Quintos very fast already from Quintos. As Gullo's put into the boards, but it's picked up by Quintos. Quintos hands it off here. It tries to pass it in front of the point. Doesn't get that far. Now coming the other way with it, number 22, Declan Conway. Conway with a shot. It's blockered and gloved away by Gordachuk and scooped up by Gordachuk.
Again, it looked like the Dashers' defense really wasn't organized on that play, and Gordachuk doing a good job holding on for the face-off to get some fresh legs on the ice for the Dashers as well.
Shots 5 to Danville, 3 to Menor so far. Declan Conway with the lone goal, the assist to John Butita. 11:26 left to go here in the first period. Won by Danville, coming back down here. A shot on the net there is sticked away by Roudebush. Menor able to break with it. Coming the other way, it was Isaiah Crawford pushing that one into the zone. As it's held here in the far corner of your screen. Several players going at it here and several players awaiting any kind of an outlet pass from it. As the Dashers end up with it in the end. As a pass is whiffed on but picked up there by Mitch Atkins. Atkins throws it down. Slade. That one's going to come out as far as Richard Pinkowski. Back to the Dashers side of things. It's picked up by Henry Berger. Dashers on it now. Pinkowski playing pressure. Now coming back with it, Atkins. Atkins hold a nice deke there. Tries to find Fred Hine just a little bit behind him. Not quite on that same wavelength just yet. Men are able to recover and run in numbers. Essery out there as that one's thrown down the boards by John Butita for a shift change. Barakov out there for the Dashers. Almost a nice pass to the point there. Instead, Barakov's going to have a run with it. Barakov on it now. Carries it. A shot that goes just left of the goal. As that one's picked up by Tesserero. Played out to the point. A shot from the point is almost tipped up and in. Instead, Roudebush grabs onto it with the glove and freezes. There awaiting any kind of rebound was Barakov.
Great opportunity, and the Dashers just waiting for that puck to trickle away from the goalkeeper. They would have been able to tuck it in real fast.
About as close as it gets currently from the media timeout. We were 2 seconds into the available space for a media timeout. Not quite the 9:59 that we enjoy seeing.
Jonathan Green and Kyla Patterson will be the contestants tonight. We need to lead at the bottom of section 1 at 4 minutes remaining in this period. They'll get ready for the shootout. Jonathan Green.
Ray Tremblay, surely with a couple of words here. They've let up a goal early, but after that, no real clear scoring opportunities. Danville currently out shooting Menor just by a couple of shots here as we're about halfway through the first period.
As he turned it in earlier, the last 5 digits are 52144. He is best to announcer us tonight. Your Dasher trivia question tonight. What year was the game?
Coach was really proud of how his team handled things last Saturday night, skating with a thin roster, and they stayed with the intensity from start to finish. He was very pleased to see that. These injuries, you know, all teams have injuries, but what Coach said is that the number of key injuries to players has been the biggest problem.
As we see a face-off down here in the left corner, Nick Gullo on it for the Dashers. On it for Menor, Alexander Morrow. Won by Gullo. Thrown across the zone and out, only as far as Troy Murray. A medium-sized hit there laid by Nick Gullo. Coming across to Quintos. Quintos on it now, already making moves, Quintos and Atkins so far. That one's shot back down the board. It's going to get as far as Roudebush, who's going to look to collect. Putting pressure on there is Quintos. The Dashers coming back with a little pressure of their own. That one's all the way down. Gordichuk has to play it, though. Otherwise, Essery would have been there to beat the icing. An errant pass finds Gullo here. Gullo dekes back around and gives the troops some time to recover. Instead, he turns it over here to Essery behind the net. So that's Morrow, sorry. Conway fighting for it along the boards with 2 Dashers of his own. And a couple of puck freezes so far tonight happening in that corner. Watertown on it now. Diaz. Morrow hits the ice as the puck hits the glass. Morrow getting a quick shift change here as a half shot on goal is fended off by Gordichuk. Another puck freeze here in the corner as the Dashers can't get out of this offensive pressure that Menor is putting on them. Nick Gullo really doing a good job getting down there and fighting for those boards. Murray with a big hit into the glass on number 14, John Butita. Butita in front of the net. He's going to have a shot here, surely. No, passes across the slot instead. Broken up there by the Dashers. Gordichuk didn't see that one at all, and he fends it off with a pad. As the Dashers looking to do anything to break this pressure. As Quintos ends up with it here. Carries it into the offensive zone. Quintos just had to turn around. He would have had a shot on goal there. Instead, we're going to have a fight at the middle of the ice here as that one is almost played with a high stick by the goalie. Don't see that one a whole lot. Instead, Roudebush lets that one fall as Atkins going to get on the end of the defensive pass from Menor that doesn't get out of the zone. Atkins tries to fire this one down. Instead, it's going to get to Palmerville. Palmerville throws it across to Fred Hine, who dumps it into the glass. Atkins on the other end of it. Atkins stumbles a little bit with it. Fred Hine circling around, trying to get a pass here instead to Palmerville. Palmerville with a shot on that's almost tipped in by Slade. Instead, it gets around to Barakov, or Ensor. Back out to Palmerville, keeping it nicely in the blue zone. Instead, a tip shot is going to be swallowed up by Roudebush there.
This is a good line for the Dashers. I like Slade and Atkins working with Hine already, showing that every time they're on the ice, they're getting some great offensive chances. Also like the way Atkins is kind of hanging out just over the blue line when the Dashers lose the puck, trying to reinitiate an offensive play. Very impressed so far with the newcomers to the Dashers.
Very good heads-up hockey there. That's going to come all the way back to Brad Denny. Brad Denny, Johan Hoagland, been a pair on the defensive side of things for quite some time for the Dashers. Tesserero going to fight for this one along the boards. It's going to get all the way out to number 17, Levi Armstrong. Instead, it's Menor coming the other way with it. On it now, Thomas Stewart Dant. Loses it just a little bit. A big hit delivered there to Barakov. Dasher with a shot on net. It scores!
Great one-timer as the Dashers take over possession of the puck and showing some great team speed to get that advantage, and Artie puts it home.
Something out of nothing there. Artem Efimov Barakov on the other end of the net. Firing home past Roudebush, who lets in his first here with 7:02 left to play in the first period.
And brought this crowd back to life here at the David S. Palmer Arena. We're tied up.
Nick Gullo back in the face-off circle, taking an increased amount of face-offs so far for the Dashers.
I was just about to remark that the Dashers need to get more offense out of their other lines, and here they came and cashed in quickly.
Men are able to touch this one up as flicked up as far as Jesse Gordichuk, who collects it. Gordichuk with a dangerous pass there. It's nicely played, though, by Hoagland. Brad Denny going to play this one nicely. Just gets out of the reach of Alexander Morrow with it. The Dashers connecting some passes now.
Best way to beat this pressure is not to be tentative. Just make the good aggressive pass.
Played behind here to Seth Ensor. Now behind the net are the Dashers with a little pressure from Conway there. Eventually shot out of the goal there by Seth Ensor all the way to Nigel Slade. Slade carrying it now. That one gets out of the blue line, and they're going to have to bring this one back with Atkins. Atkins almost has a really nice deke there. Looks like we got a shot on an accidental stick from Declan Conway up by the face when he was going for that puck. Slade carries it over now. Slade running for this one. against the speedy Brody Duncan. Levi Armstrong lays a hit there. Actually, that was Mitch Atkins.
Ooh. Dashers got lucky on that one. That puck just barely coming out of the zone. Otherwise, Menor could have had a big scoring opportunity.
They had a big chance there. Instead, we're going to have a big face-off here on the blue line of the Dashers. 5:40 left to go in the first period.
First period going by fast with a lot of end-to-end action.
Now coming behind the net is it Seth Ensor. Dashers really just trying to break this pressure. Tesserero gets a little bit of the job done and gets it out. On the break now, Barakov. You got to think he's looking for two. Barakov passes it, almost a nice pass in front of net. Instead, it's going to get as far as Roudebush off of a redirected shot. Mark Essery coming the other way with it now. Essery on 1-on-3, and the 3 win. As the Dashers are coming back with it through Tesserero. Tesserero going to fire a shot here. Goal!
Wow!
AJ Tesserero from the Serve Pro logo just beats Roudebush off the bar down, and that's a goal for the Dashers.
Very impressive one-timer by AJ Tesserero. And he finds the back of the net, and now suddenly your Danville Dashers have caught fire. And now up 2-1 with 4:59 left in your first period of play. That was an impressive shot, Nate. I did not see that one coming. He just kind of held it like he was going to wait for some help, and then he fired it home.
Well, we knew he was going to have a shot there as he was outnumbered 3-1. The Dashers win that faceoff. It's Morrow losing it. Instead, it's Butita as he recollects. Gordichuk going to stick a weak little Butita. I think a pass that got redirected goes up into the net.
Been very impressed with the Dashers bringing it forward, back down a little deeper in their own end to help when Menor puts that pressure on. It seems to be neutralizing that pressure a bit.
This one's tied up here in the close corner on your screen. A big accidental collision there as Menor is able to avoid an offside call as that puck came real close back to the blue line. Instead, they recollect. Butita tries to pass one down, spins off a hit there. Nicely done to keep it in the blue zone. A shot from way out on the side from the point man. They have Johan Hoagland spinning behind the goal here.
Big time trouble here. They got to get him out of the front of the net.
A wrister off the mask of Jesse Gordichuk. A hard shot there off the pad of Jesse Gordichuk as the Dashers need to get this puck out. That's one way to do it. They throw it off of a stick up out of the glass.
This face-off will come to the left of Jesse Gordichuk. He's been getting a little too much work here the last 60 seconds or so.
In the face-off circle now, as the Dashers win it out, it's Ensor bringing it around. Atkins going to end up with this one as he flicks it down looking for Slade. Instead, it's going to come all the way back to the defense here. Ensor ends up with it and runs it through into the offensive zone. That one nicely cleared by Menor. Coming the other way with it now is Zach McKenna. McKenna on with it as he fires a backhanded wrister, and a smash hit into Gordichuk is going to draw a cross-checking penalty on the Dashers on Seth Ensor, who's protecting his goalie. Gordichuk on the ground, a big hit delivered there by number 7 Jackson Tucker. Don't think there was any intention behind it. No doubt about the intention from the Dasher defender to defend his goalie there, though.
Yeah, sometimes you have to kind of play the police officer in front of your own net, but hate to give up a power play here with 3:38 left in the first, up 1.
It's always tough, too, when your goalie gets touched because you know you got to have his back, because if you let him touch him once, they're going to do it again. I don't think there was any intention there, but sometimes you just got to play police, as you said, and sometimes that'll earn you 2 minutes in the box. as Ensor finds his way to the box, and the Dashers have a serve pro penalty kill.
Oh, good job of clearing out the front of the net by the Dashers defense.
That's Troy Murray in there for the Dashers. Gordachuk gonna have to fend this one off. A whiffed clearance pass there by the Dashers. That's Troy Murray in there as well. Nick Gullo out on the point. Also out there, number 61, Christers Bormanis.
Dashers have struggled at times to clear their own zone even-handed, so short-handed, they got a lot more work to do here.
That'll do the trick as it's thrown down the ice. The Dashers can get a shift change. Brad Denny, Nigel Slade, Fred Hine, Johan Hoagland. Menor carrying it down, number 19, Brody Duncan. Duncan on it, still a nice deke as he has a shot on net. That's redirected there by Gordachuk. Calling for the pass there as Clouston, as he almost gets his wish, as he had a clear shot that just barely bounced wrong off the stick. Menor really threatening here with 2:31 left to go in the period. A big shot from Clouston there from the point. Fighting for it is Gordachuk, who's able to freeze it in the middle of a lot of bodies there. And there was Morrow as well as Nate Farrington.
Big chance for Menor, but Gordachuk coming up strong, not only on that first shot that kind of knuckleballed its way in on him, but also on the rebound. And then that puck was just sitting there loose, waiting for the Sharks to be circling and the Icebreakers to get that goal. But again, coming up big with another stop.
As the Dashers try and get this one sent back down the ice once more, Nick Gullo going to do the trick for the second time on this shift. 38 seconds left to go in the penalty, 2:15 left to go in the period. That one's collected behind the goal by Henry Berger. Coming the other way with it, John Butita. Butita carries it in. Nice deke there to get through the Dasher defense. Almost finds Conway with the shot. As Menor settles into an offensive pattern here. A nice between the legs pass is almost put into the net on the other side there by Morrow. The shot from the point here is going to be very high up in the air, almost played with a high stick by the Dashers, and it was played with a high stick.
Yeah, Conway doing a good job for Menor of setting up shop right in front of Gordachuk. The Dashers defense needs to do a little better job of clearing out the front of that net, or Gordy's just not going to have a chance.
And Conway and Essery, two very, very fast, very also physical players who do a great job at just disrupting whatever you try and do against them on defense. I've enjoyed watching them, as I mentioned before the pregame. Essery, someone I love to watch out on the ice.
Conway's a big boy that's tough to move from the front of that net as well.
Slade thrown off of the face-off here. I've seen more people thrown off face-offs in the last two games than I have all season, Dennis. Out of the box comes Ensor.
Big time penalty kill for your Dashers.
Carrying it on now, Menor. A rocket of a shot off the stick of Jackson Tucker, scooped up by Gordachuk.
Gordachuk getting a lot of work tonight early, but once again, standing tall between the pipes.
Now on the other end of the ice from your camera. Face-off here. Slade has been thrown off of his second face-off in a row here. Filling in for them was Mitch Atkins.
Ooh, gave up the puck again.
Gave up the puck and might have it on the run here. Fred Hine on it. Hine's stick was tied up pretty good there by the Menor defenseman. Didn't catch a number on that one. It was number 19, Brody Duncan, on the other end of that with a nice defensive stop that stopped the Dashers' lead scorer from having a shot there. Menor able to settle down here. Played up and not out of the ice off the very top of the glass there. Brad Denny tries to get on the other end of it. Instead, Slade picks it up. Fred Hine passes it across the ice, looking to find Atkins. Atkins holds off a man trying to find Fred Hine again. Instead, we're going to have an offside on the Dashers.
I really like the way Atkins kind of hangs out along the boards, waiting to get that puck and to get a big offensive chance. And we got a Menor icebreaker going to the box.
Interesting. In the box here, we're going to get the official rule on that in just a minute. I didn't think that could possibly be an offside, but you know, they have a lot better eyes, as we say all the time. We let them run with it. Instead, we're going to have a Dashers Jenna Worth power play here for 2 minutes with 47.3 seconds left to go. As the Dashers, Hoagland fires a point shot there.
Big chance to get up here at the end of the first period. Set the tone here in this game.
Goal scorer Tesserero in the middle. Instead, we're out at the point here. Gullo out there with Hoagland. A shot from
Ooh, had him beat.
the corner there, almost finds net. Instead, it's going to get passed all the way back to Gordichuk. That one comes all the way down the ice. The Dashers are able to recover to get it off the icing. Tesserero on it now.
15 seconds left in the period.
Tesserero with a slap shot. That was a rocket. Hoagland keeps it in the blue zone. He's going to have one of his own, you think. Instead, it comes back here.
7 seconds left.
Bormanis across the point. Gullo unable to do anything with it, as that one's going to be played almost all the way down. Hoagland gets it, but the clock runs out of the first period.
Great job by the Dashers power play there, generating a lot of potential offense, but just could not finish it off.
Well, they finished off right now the first period. The Dashers up 2-1 here against the Menor Icebreakers. When they come out, they'll have 1:12 of power play time left on the Jenna Worth power play. What do you think, Dennis? Both sides have looked threatening at different times, and the Dashers at some points unable to break the pressure, but when they finally did, they scored. Now they find themselves up 2-1.
Menor had more offensive opportunities. We saw again another outstanding effort between the pipes by Jesse Gordichuk to keep his team in it. And on the very few offensive chances that the Dashers had, they cashed in both times. And as I said, a lot of the offense for the Dashers have all been coming through Fred Hine. It was good to see some other scorers involved, because you know Fred's going to get his before the night's over.
Yeah, Fred's definitely going to get his in one way or another. Both Dasher goals actually now being accredited to AJ Tesserero. So, as you said, the play's starting through Fred Hine, and I guess it's finishing with Tesserero on the other end of the ice.
Very exciting, and AJ's had a tough time with a couple of goals disallowed earlier in this year, so he was due to get some good ones.
Back at it, and we're going to see some fun intermission games like normal here at the David S. Palmer Arena. Just as a little recap of what we've seen so far tonight, only 2 penalties on the night. The Mark Essery penalty was a minor for kneeing, and the Seth Enser obviously was cross-checking. Anyone with a camera and 2 eyeballs or 1 eyeball could have seen that one. 11 shots on goal from the Dashers, 8 shots for Menor. Score is 2-1 here as we go into the first intermission here at the David S. Palmer Arena. We'll be back with the second period just after a bit. Well, we're back here at the David S. Palmer Arena to get the second period of ice hockey action underway. The Danville Dashers going up against the Menor Icebreakers here on a Friday night in downtown Danville. We're back here, and we're going to keep it on as the Dashers have a 2-1 lead currently going into the second period with just 1 minute and 5 seconds left to go until we see more hockey out on the ice. The Dashers retake the ice. They'll be going left to right across your TV dial. Men are flipping sides now, the longer stretch away from their respective benches. This is always a fun time in the game when we get down to it as we see the two teams flip sides, and it takes a little bit better planning to get back into things where you're farther away from your bench, takes you a little bit more time to recover. The Dashers actually coming out on a Jenniworth power play here with just a little bit of time left on that, as we saw a penalty go against Mark Essery for kneeing with about 48 seconds left on the clock before the period ended. Now, Dennis, before we drop the puck here, a couple of keys to the second period. What are you seeing out here from the two teams?
This first minute of power play action is huge for the Dashers. If they can go ahead and win the face-off here and get an attack going and score, they could take full command of this game.
That was probably the most intense face-off set-off I've ever seen there between Farrington and Slade. This one on the fresh, clean ice is going to be batted down all the way into the Dasher zone. Ensor picks it up, passes to Palmerville. Hine, Atkins, Slade out there on the offensive side for the Dashers. Atkins going to end up with this one here. He's got space to work with. Goes over to Ensor. Passes it back down to Atkins. Gets tied up a little bit behind the glass, and a nice pass there by Menor is going to let them break the offensive pressure here. That one all the way down. It's going to get as far as Ensor behind Gordachuk's net as the Dashers recollect, and Menor goes for a shift change. Ensor carries this one over by himself. Bats it down the ice. Atkins going to have to fight to get on the other end of this one. Instead, Henry Berger passes it out. Trying to make a run with it there was Declan Conway. Instead, the Dashers have it in the offensive zone of Fred Hine. Hine fires one off the shin there of Vaughn Clouston. Clouston elects to carry it in now. Clouston going to have a shot that's stopped up there by Palmerville. Redirect almost put in by Butita, wide to the net of Gordachuk.
And that should do it for the rest of the penalty here.
We got about 4 seconds left. That one is going to do it, as you said, as the Dashers recollect here. We see Essery come out of the box from that kneeing minor. As behind the net, the Dashers contain it. It's Ensor back there.
Menor's been really stingy so far this year, giving up any power play opportunities.
And that's a big, good skill to have here in the FPHL, where penalties kind of seem inevitable at some parts of the game. That one's going to be thrown all the way down, and that one could have gone either way, as it looked like Jackson Tucker ended up getting to that one before the icing was going to be blown, but instead the icing blown. It's going to come back down to the right of Roudebush.
Yeah, that rule changed a couple of years ago in all of hockey to try to eliminate some of those big collisions, but that was one of those borderline deals because he was certainly hustling and almost below the circles already.
And you could see the impact, the potential for a big impact on a play like that, so it is a good rule. Coming back down the ice now, Menor. It's attempted to flip up to Isaiah Crawford, who's stopped up by the Dashers there. Gets behind the net of Gordachuk, and some hustle play there from Crawford is going to let this one be tied up. Coming out with it here are the Dashers.
Gordachuk wasn't sure if that puck was going to be on net, so he tried to draw that icing, but instead of playing it aggressively, and that almost turned into a chance for Menor.
Flipped around here, the Dashers coming up with it. A pass to himself there from the stick of Tyler Quintos. Menor with a nice between the pass there that came off of number 8, Isaiah Crawford. Menor has a wrist shot there from Nate Farrington that's scooped up by Gordachuk for a frozen puck.
Just like we saw in the early portion of the first period, the Dashers have come out here in the second period and just barely missing connecting on these passes. Once they settle down and start hitting the tape, I think we're going to see the Dashers' offense improve quickly here.
As the Dashers are able to win that face-off, it ends up in the stick of Troy Murray, who's quickly hounded there.
Menor again putting a big-time press on, but Dashers break it.
Tesserero carries it over. He's got 2 goals on the night already. He loses the puck there, though. It's going to come back actually all the way to Barakov, who's fighting for it with Essery.
AJ was kind of fighting that puck all the way. It was on edge and just kind of rolling and bouncing.
Roudebush going to be able to collect that one. Big stick tie up there.
Dashers have a chance. Ooh.
And that chance quickly reverted here. Mark Essery coming back down the ice. A nice stop there. Almost able to pick out a pass nicely there to Richard Pinkowski. Instead, it comes to the point here as a shot from the point is stopped by Gordachuk, but redirected into the net by Stefan Jurovic.
Once again on that first chance, Gordachuk standing tall but giving up the easy rebound. The Dashers defense not clearing out the front of that net, and they pay for it. And we're tied up 2 apiece with 16:52 left in the second.
A unfortunate redirect there, unable to be cleared, as the Dashers earlier unable to capitalize on that power play. Instead, Menor levels the score here. We're in for a game.
Those stick saves can sometimes give up some pretty bad rebounds.
Slade carries this one over nicely, almost finds Atkins for a nice pass. Instead, it's coming the other way on the stick of John Butita. Butita's got some spaces. He fires a shot on a Gordachuk, stopped by the blockers. Out on the post to Duncan. Atkins going to end up with it. He's tied off of it there by some nice hustle play from Declan Conway. Palmerville on the other end of this one, passes over to Ensor. Atkins on the other end of it. Atkins almost had Hine for a breakaway, but just out of reach of the stick of Fred Hine. Now coming the other way with it, John Butita. A nice deke there, gets him some space. He's through 2 defenders. He tries to wrap it around here. Nobody home, though. Gordachuk had the corner saved, and Palmerville ends up carrying the puck out of the zone. Now coming the other way, Gullo. Gullo on the fast break here. Drops it back to the point for Fred Hine to have a shot. That one redirected there by Roudebush.
Fred Hine once again finding that open ice and getting a good chance.
That one popped all the way up to Brad Denny. Denny and Hoagland out there. This one gets as far as Bormanis, who tips it up and loses it. Gullo on it now. Gullo's going to find a winger in space. The shot from the side there is redirected off the stick, and probably the highest out-of-play puck we've seen all season.
That one went up and over the Dishman Inflatables signage. That's as high up as he can possibly get here in the arena.
On the shot there was Quintos.
Good aggressive play at mid-ice by the Dashers, getting that big opportunity. Ooh, big shot from the point. But Roudebush coming up strong in the net. When the Dashers win these face-offs, Nate, they're getting some great instant opportunities.
Nick Gullo in the face-off circle here for the Dashers. On the other end, Nate Farrington. I would say Farrington's taking over 50% of Menor's face-offs so far tonight.
And winning a fair share of them as well.
Indeed. No questioning that, as the Dashers are going to get called for an offside here. Brad Denny thinks otherwise, but he's not going to win that one.
Yeah, usually when you protest a call with the officials, you're not going to be on the winning side of that argument very often.
Daniliuk passes it back here. He's going to end up with it once again. Picks out a nice stretch pass there, trying to find Mark Essery. Instead, it's going to get back to Gordachuk, who quickly shovels that one off. Brad Denny takes a big hit there on the boards as Quintos ends up with it. Menor keeps it in the blue zone until it's redirected out of bounds and back over into the blue zone. Brad Denny coming back with it here. Denny's pass is tipped up there, caught with the glove of Nate Farrington, who tries to throw it down. Instead, coming the other way, Stuart Dant was trying to fight for it, but the Dashers are able to recover. Johan Hoagland on it now. Hoagland back on it now. He's known to carry these over a little bit. Instead, some nice passing going on here by the Dashers. And just as you say that, it's turned over by the Dashers.
Well, it was a good idea, but just barely missed on that pass.
Tesserero, a good heads-up play to throw that one down the ice. He's putting a lot of pressure there on Roudebush. Hawgood on it now. Over to Murray. Murray with a shot that almost was redirected in off the stick of Levi Armstrong. Now coming the other way with it was Stuart Dant. He throws it down into the other side of the ice as a dangerous shot there, fired across the blue zone of Jesse Gordachuk. Conway able to get it back to his defense to recollect. Conway going to be the only Menor icebreaker and the only player to have a chance at this one. A nice deke off the boards lets him win it as Menor's going to have a serious chance here. Instead, it's broken up by the Dashers who send it sky high, and a nice bounce prevents that from being an icing. Brody Duncan on the back line there, passes it over to Alfonso Diaz. Diaz with a turnover there. Tesserero ends up with it. Instead, it's to Conway, making Conway turn 360 after all the redirections on that puck. Atkins going to lay chase here as Menor fires it down into the defensive zone for the Dashers. Having to move quickly here, the Dashers. We're seeing that offensive pressure building up again here. Big time from the Menor Icebreakers.
Dashers defense doing a little better job of reading where the pressure is coming from and moving the puck to the other side of the rink.
Sent all the way down the other side of the ice there. A huge hit laid by Troy Murray. Slade on the other end of this one now. And Slade brings it back.
Ooh, just missed.
Tries to find a pass to Fred Hine. Instead, finds it over the blue line to Enser. Menor able to come back with it now. On the puck now, Zach McKenna. McKenna brings it back and drops it over to Richard Pinkowski. Palmerville on it now. Palmerville tries to find a stretch pass to Fred Hine to break the pressure. Instead, it's going to be recollected, and the Dashers are going to be able to go. Fred Hine going to end up on this one, drops it back. Should have a shot here. Slade back over to Atkins instead. Gets a little bit tripped up there in the chaos, and Menor's going to be able to recover. Fred Hine intercepts a pass at the middle of the ice here.
Oh, good opportunity for the Dashers, but nobody home on the right-hand side.
Slade with a pass down the boards to Hine. Hine fighting for this one along with Menor's defense. Menor looks to break from this one as they would have had numbers moved a little bit quicker. A shot from the right side there, goes harmlessly across the side of the boards. Coming the other way, Danville. Nick Gullo on the side of it. Gullo going to have a pass here to the middle of Hine. Hine to Gullo, finds an open zone, but that was blocked by Clouston. Heck of a defensive play there by Clouston, saved his team a goal. And that shot from Murray was almost not collected there from Roudebush. Instead, it's coming the other way with Menor. Essery with some nice footwork to find open in space and gets swallowed up by a Dasher sandwich there. Daniliuk tries to fire a shot on Gordachuk. It's played away with the blockers. Bormanis coming the other way, adding a little bit of pressure here on the Menor defense. The Dashers pushing a little bit higher to kind of mirror what Menor's been doing. Baraka slaps that one down. Sorry, that was Enser. Coming the other way with it is the Danville Dashers. Atkins on it now. That one's tipped up nicely. Gullo on it. Goes back to Palmerville. Palmerville throws this one down. It's going to be a weird bouncing pass that's going to come back for an icing. Got a little bit of extracurriculars going here between Palmerville and Mark Essery.
I don't think he was inviting him over for snacks after the game.
Bormanis even getting into it a little bit there with Essery. Not two guys I would exactly prefer to go up against.
Palmerville's been playing a lot of these high shots out. He must have a pretty good short game at golf, too. That was a good pitching wedge.
All tied here. Two's wild in the second period. 10:59 left as we're going to see penalties added against Menor and against Danville. We'll see who it goes up against when it comes up. On the Danville side of things, it's going to be Palmerville, and on the Menor side of things, it's going to be Essery. Could have guessed that one coming. It's 2-minute minors. We're going to have some 4-on-4 hockey here. No, we're not. We're going to have some 5-on-5 hockey here. Actually, Danville has one too many on the ice. You never know. Sometimes those strange things happen where we just have non-offsetting and they both serve them. I've seen it happen where we've had 5-on-5 hockey after that. Fred Hine out here on the corner now with it. Hines elect to carry this one. Sends a rocket of a pass that's nicely touched up by Haugland. A shot from Denny is redirected off the stick up into the banners and into the netting.
Unlike last week, where against certain teams it looked like in 4-on-4 hockey the Dashers would have the edge. Here I don't think either team has a little bit of an advantage when they're 4-for-4. All we're going to do is get entertained by some exciting rink-to-rink action.
It's going to be fast both ways. You know that between these teams. Denny with a shot on. That one was well out of Roudebush, but he came out just to make sure. Men are fighting for this one. They're going to have the opportunity to play here through Declan Conway. Instead, ending up with it, Alfonso Diaz on the defensive side of things. That one's thrown all the way down, going to go to Gordichuk here. And covered up, but he was not trying to freeze that one, but it was felt by the referee that he was freezing it as he hand passed that one out. He fooled the referee there a little bit.
As soon as he covered the puck and the puck disappeared completely from view, the referee was quick to whistle.
Now, sometimes those will be let play, especially in a situation like that where there's only one offensive player around, but it is fair game to call that one as Clouston plays this one down into the corner. Morrow on it. Some big hits being laid down there in the Danville defensive zone. A slap shot fires wide right at Gordichuk. That one came back across the blue line as they're going to have to recollect for a delayed offsides. Menor. Morrow playing a little bit of offensive defense there. That one comes right back out to Henry Berger. Berger fires one that's redirected up into the netting again.
Good job by the Dashers to not let him get an open shot, because that was a good chance in the making, but keeping the stick right on him just made that a wasted opportunity for the Menor Icebreakers.
Alexander Morrow credited with that second Menor goal, by the way. With 9:55 left to go here, 54 seconds left of 4-on-4 hockey. Menor threatening here in the offensive zone. A blown tire there as the Dashers going to have a chance here. Atkins is going to try and play that. And Atkins played along the boards to Nate Farrington. That one comes almost on goal as a backwards pass from Farrington back to Roudebush. Kept in nicely there by the Dashers as they throw it down behind the net. Quinto's going to pick that one up and try and play it around. Instead, it's going to be Farrington carrying it out here. Von Clouston fires a shot on. A redirect has to be swallowed up by Gordichuk there. A nice tight angle shot there from Menor. Almost finds the back of the net here with 17 seconds of 4-on-4 hockey left to go on the penalties to Palmerville and Essery.
Declan Conway was kind of mentioning to the referee that he thought it was over the goal line, and Gordichuk doing a really good job of quickly hiding that puck from view and making sure it was disposed of before they could count that goal.
No VAR here to review that, but we're going to get the media timeout as we have hit the under 10 mark. 9:16 left to go in the second period. About 17 seconds left of 4-on-4 when we return.
Here's going to be a big chance when these penalties expire. It's going to be very important where the puck is and who has possession, because you might get an odd man break coming out of the box.
All right, fans, we got another Dasher trivia question.
We expected a tight game, Nate. We expected a good game, Nate. We got both. This has been a terrific hockey game so far.
Yeah, it has plenty of opportunity for both teams so far here. About halfway through the second period. Current shots on goal tally should be 13 to Menor and 14 to Danville. So very even in almost all aspects here as we see a 2-2 game in the second period.
Menor's had a little bit of a directional problem with their shots. They had a lot more opportunities, but the shots going wide of Jesse Gordichuk.
AJ Tesserero, currently the 2-goal hero for the Dashers. Seth Ensor, the only other Dasher with a point on the assist. Declan Conway, Alexander Morrow, John Butita with points. Conway, Morrow with goals. Butita with the assist.
And going on the ice after the Dashers score their first goal tomorrow night, bring one back full, and then after the game you can...
Just has that feeling that the next team to score is going to have the chance to take big-time command of this hockey game.
It sure seems that way. As we come to the face-off, Butita here in it against Bormanis. Butita wins it, comes out to the point in the hands of Dmitry Daniliuk. A shot from Daniliuk, almost put in on the rebound. Instead, cleaned up by the Dashers. Another shot, a third save there from Gordichuk, as that one had an open net there for number 22, Declan Conway, almost nabbing his second goal.
Penalties over. We're at 5-5.
That's going to be an offside if it's played by Menor. Instead, it comes all the way back down, and we're probably going to have an icing on this one. Nope, it was not. Coming back down now, Menor collects it. That one played in by Conway. From Roudebush to Gordichuk, we've gone in just under about 3 seconds.
And Roudebush had his arm up. He was expecting an icing, but it never came.
That one's going to be pop flied and eventually come down to Brody Duncan. Duncan trying to throw this one down to find Morrow. Instead, Ensor throws it out. We're caught up here in front of the Menor bench as that one comes back down to number 22, Declan Conway. Solid defensive move there from Troy Murray. Keeps Menor off of their skates, quite literally. Gullo here, as Gullo fires it on, that one's going to end up as a shot on Roudebush. Easily saved there by the pad. I think freezing it was harder than getting it off your pads there.
Yeah, that puck just kind of glued to him, and the Dashers were kind of circling and ready to try to tuck that rebound in. He quickly found it and was able to freeze it. Big face-off here. The Dashers have their offensive line out.
Denny fires that one on. Atkins tries to redirect it in. Instead, it's going to get as far as Richard Pinkowski. Tied up on the boards by Slade, though. Atkins actually doing a great job getting to that, even on the ground. Now Menor comes the other way. They could have had numbers if they moved a little bit faster. Instead, turned over to Danville. A stretch pass almost finds Fred Hine off the boards. Instead, it's going to get back to Hoagland. Hoagland over to Denny. Atkins waits on the right side. Instead to Slade. Turned over and picked up by Essery all the way back to the Danville defense to Brad Denny. Hoagland flips that one down into the hand of Henry Berger. Fred Hine unable to do anything with that.
Good active sticks by the Danville Dashers defense. Prevented that play.
Zach McKenna pushed this one down into the zone. Danville trying to get it out. Menor attacking with pressure. Fred Hine going to have a one-on-one here as he comes down towards the goal. Fred Hine carries it over, tried to find Brad Denny, who was streaking. Instead, it's going to come back to the Dasher defensive zone where it looked like more Menor icebreakers were than Dashers there, with the benches having switched. That one's tipped up all the way down here. Roudebush wanted icing. Instead, it's touched up by Menor as that one was redirected. Essery almost had himself a nice chance there. Instead, it goes to Palmerville. Palmerville tries to play it through to Armstrong, just a little bit too tough on that one.
Fresh legs out there now for the Dashers.
Armstrong playing pressure here, lays a pretty big hit there. The puck finds Barakov. As Barakov, and that one's going to come all the way back actually down to Palmerville. Palmerville tries to dump it back down as Roudebush is caught out of his net there. Tries to get it stopped. Instead, it comes around. No harm, no foul.
This line for the Dashers responsible for both goals, and again, taking the offense to Menor.
Tesserero tries to play one. A shot from the point is blocked up there nicely by Alexander Morrow, who's going to try and run with it. Instead, Ensor forces him off of it and dumps it back down into the other side. A clean-shaven A.J. Tesserero going to take a bench moment here. A big slap shot from all the way down the other side is going to come back for an icing.
Ooh. Oh, boy.
Farrington's going to come to the box. We'll see what it's for. Might be too many men on.
I think that's going to be the call.
And that is all the result of a giant slap shot there.
Little debate. No, he's going to say that he's got to stay on the ice because of the, he tried to change up on the line.
During that makes a lot more sense. Either way, that was all the result of a massive slap shot stretch pass that really didn't find anybody except the boards.
That was way offline.
Nick Gullo taking the face-off against Thomas Stewart Dant. Dashers win it. A point shot is swallowed up by Roudebush and frozen.
Gave up another big rebound in front of his net. He keeps doing that. It won't be long before the Dashers get one behind him.
You know, they're going to be looking to capitalize on that for sure. Looks like taking the face-off here for Menor. It's going to be Zach McKenna. Nick Gullo on the other end here.
Quinos and Gullo, a very interesting combination. Lots of speed.
This one's just tied up in the face-off circle, but pulled out by the Dashers. It's pulled back, trying to find a point. And it's going to get to Hawgood, who dumps it down. We're going to have a penalty here.
Oh.
And it was in front of the net. You saw someone hit the ground there right in front of the net. And that one's going to cost Menor as they're going to go on the penalty kill here as the Dashers get a Jenna Worth power play.
And good timing because the Dashers' top offensive line, not the top offensive line tonight, but their usual top offensive line with Fred Hine was well rested and ready to rotate out for their shift.
Fred Hine hasn't had a point tonight. You know he wants to change that, averaging almost 1.5 points a game so far. Menor unable to wins the face-off, but unable to clear here as Hine ends up with it. Over to Ensor to Palmerville. Palmerville dumps it into Atkins. And it was cross-checking penalties we just heard over the intercom there. And we're going to have another delayed penalty here.
Ooh, this is a big opportunity to turn this game upside down for your Dashers.
This one's actually going to come back on the Dashers, it looks like. Looks like they're going to get Atkins for a penalty.
Wow, I'm a little surprised by that. The way the puck was being played, I thought it was going to be some 5-on-3 action for the Dashers.
It sure looked like it, but we saw some heads hung there as you see an offensive possession go to waste here. We're going to have 4-on-4 wide open hockey again here tonight. That's happened quite a few times already. Palmerville collects and skates with it now. A stretch pass to Fred Hine, finds him open. Hine on net. Hine gonna have a shot at backhander, goes in! Fred Hine on the 4-on-4.
You give Fred Hine a chance one-on-one against the opposing goalie. It is not going to end up to be a happy ending for the goalie.
Nothing Roudebush could have done there as the Dashers score on the 4-on-4. Fred Hine, that was a beautiful stretch pass. The assist should go to Alex Palmerville. We had a clear view of that one, if I've ever seen a clear view of any goal.
Fred Hine has a deadly forehand shot, and that's what Roudebush tried to play, and then Freddie just kind of tucked it around to the backhand and buried it home.
In all effects, that was a shoot-around shot as Quintos is going to have an offensive opportunity. Atkins on it now. Atkins with a backhander. That was nicely saved by Roudebush.
Puck took a weird bounce off the sideboard that prevented the Dashers from getting that advantage.
On it now, Essery. Essery shoots one off the mask of Gordichuk. Palmerville having a very active defensive shift on it now. Essery going to end up with this one in some space if he can get out of it. A nice defensive active sticks there from the Dashers, and a stick ends up on the ground. Palmerville skating with this one, though. He's still got his stick, and he'll let you know it as he fires this one down. That was dangerously close off of the side of Roudebush, who didn't seem to have an idea where that was. Instead, off the boards and to Menor. Carrying the other way here, Von Clouston. Dumped down behind Gordichuk. 40 seconds left of 4-on-4 between we have 11 seconds of 5-on-4, and that'll be a Serve Pro penalty kill when it comes. Clouston with a shot on net. It's almost saved by Gordichuk, who tries to claw it out of the air, instead bounces off the chest protector. Out to the point, Clouston gonna have a pass here, and a shot, a rocket from the left side there off the stick of Brody Duncan. Clouston back to Duncan. Duncan with wide open spaces, a shot. Gordichuk save. As Gordichuk gonna have to freeze this puck as Menor was threatening in a big way.
Wow. Gordichuk having a flop in front of his own net to kill that opportunity for Menor. A great job in goal by Jesse Gordichuk.
You know, we didn't mention this when it happened because it was a big goal, but when Fred Hine came over to his bench for the celly, it almost looked like he was going to hug the referee. What a meme that would have been if that had happened. Thank your officials, ladies and gentlemen. Morrow loses the faceoff there to Slade as Danville recovers. It's out to the goal scorer, Fred Hine. Hine back to Slade. Slade to Hine. Hine with a shot. It's off Roudebush. Brad Denny going to collect this one.
Good opportunity there for your Dashers.
Some nice defensive offense there. Offensive defense from Morrow and Essery. On it now, Declan Conway fires it across. That one's coming close on the net. Swallowed up nicely by Jesse Gordichuk.
Yeah, we're back comfortably to 5-on-5 hockey. And down to 3:18 left in the second. Dashers still up 3-2.
And that's one way to do it. You score a goal while it's 4-on-4, kill off that short 11 seconds of penalty kill, and then you're good. That was a Serve Pro penalty kill and a Jenna Worth power play all wrapped into one fun sentence there. Thanks to our sponsors. Levi Armstrong coming down the ice here.
And Nate, you called that one. You said it wouldn't be long till Fred Hine got a point, and he listened.
Didn't take him very long. We have a direct line to the Dashers bench. Tesserero fights hard for that one. Instead, it's going to be Menner coming out with it.
Good pressure by the Dashers.
Kind of giving them a taste of their own medicine here recently. Morrow fights for it there with Barakov. Barakov going to end up with it. Brings it out to the point to Brad Denny. Or Hoagland has a shot. Denny's on the other side there. Tesserero fighting for this one with Conway. Tesserero wins it. He's won a lot of things tonight so far. Barakov fighting for this one. Menner needs to clear this zone, and they do. Morrow going to skate with it.
Oh,
as he's pushed into the boards there.
Fresh legs coming for both sides now.
Barakov with some nice stick movement there. A beautiful deke, and he's through, and he has a shot on Roudebush and forces a puck freeze. That was a very nice segment there. Well done by Barakov.
Good job, because what he was mainly trying to do is give a chance for the defense to get a change. They had not changed yet, but all of a sudden saw a great opportunity, took it, and almost cashed in.
And we got a face-off here. It's going to be Gullo against, I do believe that was Zach McKenna taking that one. Coming back now, Menner wins it and comes around with it. Not a great pass there, but Hoggood unable to corral it. It was just hard enough. Von Clouston coming down now. He fires a pass through the blue zone. It's tipped away by Jesse Gordichuk. On it there, Jackson Tucker in the corner. Tucker fighting for it. Instead, it's a stretch pass here.
Oh.
Trying to find
hustle.
Quintos, who's tripped up. No call. As that just looked like two guys going for the puck.
And now we have a whistle.
Now we have a stoppage of play. I'm not sure what for.
I think they call it offside. Puck just came real close to the blue line. Must have come just over. This is a game of inches, Nate.
It was very close. They've got better eyes on it than we do. It was the back judge calling that one, though, which is always fun to see. 1:40 left to go here in the second period. A tight game between Menner, and Menner's on the run here with Farrington. Farrington carrying it through Essery. Essery with a shot. Gordichuk unable to grab a hold of that one, but it was wide and up anyway.
Menner taking a little bit of the momentum away here. Dashers just need to pour it on here for the last minute.
Looked like Quintos maybe the victim of a big hit. Instead, it was Slade, and we're going to have another offside call, I think, as Slade's going to get some minutes in the penalty box for that one. He trips up Brody Duncan after being the victim of a huge hit there. I think Slade wanted to drop the gloves. Brody Duncan wanted no piece of that.
I have not seen the box open yet.
It doesn't look like... Yeah,
Now
surely
it
it's going
is.
to.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge trip. Slade's trying to fight anybody who wants to drop the gloves with him. It's not going to open.
Wow. I'm a little surprised at that one, but we'll take it.
That was a clear slash there on Brody Duncan, or trip, excuse me, not a slash.
This is one of those situations where I wouldn't be surprised to see both guys sent to the bench to cool off a little bit here at least. Oh.
Have we not had a media timeout yet?
No, there's a problem with the glass apparently. They're going to do a little repair job apparently.
I see. That makes sense. I saw both boxes open and I was like, maybe it's a media timeout this time. I don't know.
Now, I'm really surprised that Slade didn't get the penalty there. I thought he was definitely guilty. Looked guilty. Looked like he was even trying to draw a little bit of a fight to negate the penalty.
It definitely looked to me like he was trying to fight anybody who would fight him.
He was getting quite the escort by two officials.
He definitely was, and maybe it's one of those cases where you say, okay, tight game, heat of the game, and you see Duncan kind of doing a little bit, as is a defender's job. You do a little physicality, you kind of throw some people off their game. Maybe you just see that and you wipe your hands of it and say, fair play, we're not going to call it either way. If it gets out of hand, we'll just give you a harder penalty next time with double minors.
We've had a couple of these little battles where you kind of wonder, are we going to see something erupt? Because we've had a few of them. Gullo's had his partner in crime on the Menor side. We now see Slade taking on just about everybody.
Yep.
And Fred Hine was getting into it behind the scenes of plays as well. And of course, we saw Seth Ensor defending his goalie in a very aggressive way. So we've got a few of these combinations that might add up to being something here going forward.
Yeah, and it's worth remembering 2 games this weekend, so you wonder what tomorrow night will look like.
I wonder if they're going to send both teams off, and this is kind of interesting. I'm not really sure what's going on here at this point.
They're still working on fixing the glass here to our left. It looks like there is a glass panel being lifted up. Yeah, arena staff working on that. So they're going to send both teams off the ice in case they get bored and just want to, drop the gloves, throw a couple hands. They are going to let Gordichuk get over there and grab his water bottle, though.
I wonder if they're just going to take the second period break now and just finish off an extra minute and 16 in the third. It almost looks like that's what they're aiming to do here.
We've seen that happen quite a few times when things like this happen. Last year we had one glass panel that was completely shattered by a huge hit laid by now Delaware Thunder player Taylor Cutting. Man, could he lay the boom. We'll see them not too long from now. But for now,
would make a lot of sense because there is going to be a bit of a delay here to fix the glass.
It's going to take a minute to fix this glass. You think you'll come back with 21:16 left on the clock. That also adds the benefit of both sides kind of calming down. So that's another thing that this official staff is doing a great job of taking into consideration. We're probably going to take a break here until we get a little bit of it sorted out. There's no reason for us to commentate the exciting process that is glass replacement to you. I don't know how much we would say about it, but we are going to see the players come off the ice. Nathan Farrington going to talk to the referee a little bit, kind of see why they didn't call what he probably agrees was a penalty there in front of the net, but sometimes that happens in the heat of the game. So we're going to take a break here. Nonetheless, we'll be back after this for, yes, it does look like the third period as they're getting the clock readjusted. So before we go, the final thought on that, we're going to take our second intermission break.
All right, fans.
Well, we're back here, Danville Dashers hockey at the David S. Palmer Arena right here in downtown Danville. Nate Williamson back here with you, your play-by-play commentary. I've got with me my cohort in crime, as much of a redundancy as that is, Mr. Dennis Michelson. Now, D-Mike, we've seen these players and teams go through 2 periods. Before we break down a little bit of their play, we want to give a shout-out to one of our very special sponsors.
Yeah, Robinson Chiropractic here tonight, and they do a good job of taking good care of the Danville Dashers players. Dr. Robinson, when I was getting a chance to talk to him at the grand opening of a new Westville location, right there, heart of Westville, 111 North State Street, he said the collisions that go on at a hockey game are like a car wreck. Same injuries from a car wreck. The only difference is the hockey players do it multiple times every game.
Yeah, I've always heard hockey players compared to crash test dummies.
Exactly. So Robinson Chiropractic now with 3 locations, their regular location there on Vermilion Street in Danville, but also up in Hoopston, and now the new Westville location is open. They got a great deal right now with a $20 new patient appointment. So give them a call, head on over there. The main Danville location, 217-442-2273.
And Robinson does a lot for the team with those car crash type accidents and injuries. And a great job there by Dr. Robinson and the staff. I've seen the inside of a little bit through pictures of that new location. Looks really nice as well.
And the incredible thing is when you get chiropractic service, people are finding a huge deduction in how much they need regular medical care, and really a good job of decreasing the use of opioids for pain-related injuries.
Yeah, indeed. And a confirmation here, we are going to play the 1:13 of that second period and come back down for the third period. I'm assuming they will switch sides and be right back at it, no break.
Great decision here at the arena to save some time on that glass repair.
That's great refereeing there. And now coming back with it, Ensor is fought off there by Farrington. Farrington and Essery pushing hard there. Essery's going to end up with it with a backhand, sticked away by Gordachuk. Farrington ending up with it as the Dashers trying to clear this one. Essery ends up with it instead. Back along the boards here, fighting for it is Atkins. Instead, it's going to be shot down by Gordachuk, who covers that post as Ensor collects with 32 seconds left to go in the period. Ensor fires a rocket over across. That's too tough.
Oh, dangerous.
Dangerously played there. Instead of pass to no one off the stick there of the Dashers are going to just be turned over back to Menor. And that one's shot back down. Just an exchange here, kind of warming up, getting a feel. Brody Duncan passes an errant one there. Would have been a hand pass unless it came back down and the Dashers collected. Alex Palmerville stops that from happening. 4 minutes left to go here as Menor is going to get called for an offside. That's going to stop us with about a minute, or a second and 0.2 of a second on the clock.
Just like we saw at the start of the first and the second periods coming back from the break, Danville just missing the passes a little bit. If they start hitting the tape again, we'll see that offense increase.
Kind of a weird face-off there that saw 2 guys down on the ice. They kind of laugh it off, and then they skate back to the side.
Now we'll get to see the goaltenders mainly shift sides and play the third period of action here.
That was Nick Cullo and Alexander Morrow kind of laughing about it, jawing back and forth after they both ended up on the ground on the face-off. You always like to see some good sportsmanship there and a fair play.
Fred Hine and Brody Duncan having a little discussion going to the bench and also sharing a laugh. So some good-natured play back and forth by both teams here at our mini 2.5 period break, I guess we'll call this.
Yeah, kind of. 2.5, 2 1/4, 2 1/20, whatever you want to call it. The goalies switch sides, and it looks like in 15 seconds we're going to be back at it. It effectively ends up just being a free timeout for both sides. And great refereeing. Got to tip our cap there on that. That's a heads-up play there by the referees.
Big time savings. Maybe the referees are going to Monocle's Pizza afterwards. They wanted to make sure they got there before it closes.
That sounds good. Coming back Hoagland and Denny out there, the defensive duo for the Dashers. He tipped it down to Gullo. Gullo with a stretch pass. That's going to find Quintos. Quintos with ice. It pulls it back and elects to get an offensive possession. Across the slot to Gullo. Gullo's redirect finds Quintos. Quintos with a shot. Gullo in front of net. Quintos buries it.
Yes, it wasn't pretty, but it counts just the same. And your Danville Dashers showing a little scrappy action right in front of the net. And they cash in to go up 4-2.
Quintos getting his first goal as a Dasher and his first game as a Dasher here in action at the David S. Palmer Arena as we're in the third period now. The Dashers take a 2-goal lead, 4-2, 19:41 left to go in the game.
Little discussion going on among the referees, and now they're calling over the other linesmen.
Looks like this might not count. We might get an interference call here. I would be surprised to see that.
Oh, they're going to wave off the goal.
They waved off the goal there.
Wow.
I am very surprised to see that.
Wow, big turn of events here.
I don't know how they overturned that one. It just looked like a scrum in there, and that's fair play. Either way, we're back down to 3-2 here in favor of the Dashers.
So they're not going to count the goal, but they're not going to count a penalty either.
They did not assess a penalty, which logic dictates in an interference call, you would see a penalty on the end of that one. No such call there as the Dashers still up just by 1. We'll see if that comes back into play against a talented Menor offense.
Boy, that's a big, big change here. Big difference in the third period being down 1 or down 2.
Atkins on it there as Gullo blows a tire. Now coming the other way with it, number 20, Zach McKenna. McKenna carries over. That's going to be an offside on Menor.
Yeah, the Menor player sort of got lost in his own offensive end. I don't know what he was thinking that time, but Crawford, the player that was way, way offside and making no effort to get back onside.
He was just kind of hanging around. Maybe he's looking to apply that offensive pressure that we've seen work out so far, but you can't do it when the puck's not there, that's for sure. Men are able to recover here. Coming back down with it, Jackson Tucker.
Oh, nice
picked off by Fred Hine. Slade on it now. Slade with a shot. It's up over the net. And the rebound coming off the boards. Hine going to end up with it. It almost bounces back behind Roudebush. Instead, it's going to come up the side here. Kept in the zone nicely by Danville. Now out of the zone by Menor. Fighting hard for these pucks, the Dashers now. Trying to do his best to fend off 2 people. Zach McKenna, nobody seemed really eager to come and help him until now. The Dashers have the puck in their own offensive end now. A nice defensive play there by number 3, Dmitry Zaniliuk. Slade coming back down with it. Slade's got some space. A shot on goal there from Atkins.
Atkins and Slade.
Hine with a shot. Goes just wide. The rebound not able to be corralled quickly. Slade and the goalie getting into it.
Big fight now going on.
Goalie fight! Slade and Roudebush. Roudebush is throwing hands. Slade's got against the goal. He's against the board. Slade on the ground.
Man.
Roudebush with a significant size advantage. Yeah. Slade's got him on the ground. He's hammering him with the right hook. The referees could not stop those two. Slade laying the final boom there. He gets up off the ground. That's how you pick yourself up in a fight, that's for sure.
Jesse Gornichuk could even come down and drop the gloves from the other end.
Nigel Slade's going to be a fan of that one. He's got a torn shirt, a bloody hand. He's even exchanging words to the Menor bench. Menor's having some words with him. As Slade's going to find his way off, he's going to have some blood on and also a jersey torn.
Wow.
Roudebush has got blood all over his jersey coming out of his mouth. And you got to think if that started as something behind the play there, both guys are going to get a penalty for it.
And Jordan Brandt is going to take over in the net here.
Men are probably happy in this case to have 3 different goalies on the active roster here on the road. Not a lot of teams do that.
After that play, Roudebush and Slade were kind of exchanging blows, and then Roudebush started hammering him with the stick, and that was it for Slade. He had had enough. And the 2 of them quickly dropping the gloves. That was quite a fight by goalie standards.
Yeah, he was throwing it. He looked like a seasoned vet in the fighting, maybe a defenseman rather than a goalie.
Now both Alex Palmerville and Nathan Farrington over there with the referees getting an explanation of what the penalty minutes will be on this one.
Looks like they're talking a little bit. Looks like they mostly are agreeing with each other about what just went down. In that kind of a situation, it's really hard to not stand behind your player, but when you see two captains coming together, an assistant captain in Palmerville who's filling in for Brazen, who would be the normal captain on this team, who is out with an injury, it is good to see two captains coming together and talking about it and not spitting words at each other, but coming to an understanding. A tough situation there. It's going to be interesting to get the final word on what those penalties are. Let me know when we get the final word on that app there.
Yeah, we're not really seeing much on the scoreboard here at the David S. Palmer Arena yet. Obviously, both guys are going to get 5 minutes for fighting, but I wonder if you're going to have some game misconducts here as well.
You might think so, and I mean, it drew blood as well, so you wonder if that'll come into play as Slade effectively beat his hands to a pulp on Roudebush, and Roudebush's mouth is bleeding. He's actually coming back out onto the ice. You would think he's going to see his way off the ice.
Yep.
He is.
Yeah, Roudebush had the early advantage in that bout, but Nigel Slade was just pummeling him at the end.
Now by goalie standards, I'm going to give Roudebush a tip of the hat here for that. That was a slugfest he just put up. And, you know, you got a little bit of an advantage having the giant pads, the giant goalie mask that he took off fairly quickly.
I'll give him credit for this. He not only dropped the pads, he dropped the mask. He wasn't hiding behind the mask in that hockey fight. That was a pretty good matchup.
Definitely. I think Jesse Gordichuk wanted to have a go there.
Yeah, that was the hilarious part, is watching Jesse drop his gloves and skate all the way down to the other end, and he was kind of skating around looking for somebody to fight with, or at least match up and have a little hug fest there, as they all tend to do in hockey fights. And he couldn't find a partner.
Nope.
So he was just kind of skating around.
And when you can't find a dance partner, you just stand there and look tough. We're going to see the first penalty put on the board here. It would be...
I think Slade is got to get credit for an instigation penalty there for starting the fight maybe, and they'll just have somebody else in the box.
Well, it can't be against Jesse Gordichuk, and that's whose number is currently up on the board.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
There's no illegal man downfield like there is in football. Gordichuk not going to get a penalty for that one. You'd think they would straighten this up. 31 should turn into 39.
Yeah, and maybe Gordichuk's getting a penalty for not finding a dancing partner in time. Maybe there's a new penalty that we didn't know about.
Maybe there is something wrong with it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's 2 minutes on Slade for the instigation. 5 minutes for each for fighting is going to be definitely the case. And
Levi Armstrong is going to be the one serving it looks like, as well. Well, one thing's for sure, Mr. Brandt has had enough time to kind of stretch his legs out and get ready to go in the game. Jordan Brandt wearing the number 30, the rookie for the Menor Icebreakers. This was a very fun turn of events, unless your name is now covered in blood on the back of your jersey, that's for sure.
Yeah, a lot of blood down on the ice as well in different places. They're kind of scraping it up and kind of getting rid of it here.
Men are living up to their name, the Icebreakers, breaking off a little bit of the bloody ice and doing the good service of carrying it off. Do you think they're going to return it there to Roudebush?
Maybe give him a little bit of a transfusion of slightly icy blood. Who knows?
You might think so.
What a crazy turn of events here, but it'll end up in a power play for the Menor Icebreakers, and a big, big turning point here in our third period. 18:30 left, and if the Danville Dashers can hold off Menor here on this power play, I think we got a good chance of taking back command of this game. Remember, this whole fight and now this whole power play coming after that disallowed goal, which I still don't understand the reasoning on that one. If you're not giving a penalty out for interference, I don't know how you can disallow that goal because the puck was in play. Very strange. I could understand disallowing the goal if you give Danville a penalty.
That's what I was also going to ask is, did that all kind of start with that disallowed penalty? Now, the goal scorer was Quintos, and he was nowhere near that. I do believe he was actually on the bench when that happened, as he's now on the bench with his line. They're all sitting together, Hine, Atkins, Quintos, talking to Mr. Harley White back there.
Still have not seen the official posting of what other penalties we might have other than this 2-minute minor.
Well, you got to think 5 for fighting for both. I think that was clear enough. 5 for fighting. Great ban.
They earned that one.
Yeah, they definitely earned that one.
5 minutes for sure, but I'm wondering if we've seen the end of both players' nights. Maybe the officials weren't happy that they didn't break up the fight fast enough and gave them game misconducts too. We'll have to check.
And this might be one of the cases where they need to look at the video that we're providing to see kind of what goes on. That one not able to be cleared by the Dashers. Men are going to have a chance here. Ending up with it is Duncan. Duncan's put into the boards but finds Farrington. Back to Duncan. Duncan's going to have a shot from the point. Dealt with by Gordachuk. Brought down to the ice was Essery.
Ensor doing a good job behind the play of just barely staying legal on taking that player to the ice.
A slight jersey tug will do the trick more often than not, and it'll keep you out of the penalty box. Kind of a blown pass there finds Farrington, playing nicely in the point with some great connecting passes. Brody Duncan on it now.
Men are doing a great job of holding this puck in.
Essery on it. Essery back to Duncan. Back to Essery. Essery with some
Look
space.
out.
A shot off the right collar of Gordachuk. Dashers can't get it out of the ice. There they go. They're bringing it back now. And that one's going to try to be cleared by Ensor. Instead, it's deflected up and over the glass, out of play. Souvenir.
Dangerous situation in front of the net there. Rebound given up, and then the Dashers trying to fire a pass and ends up deflecting right back out in front of the net. So very lucky on that one that Menor was not able to cash in.
And we've still got 17 minutes and 34 seconds left to play here in the third period. This period feels like it's taking forever. It makes up for the rest of the game going very quickly. First you had the broken glass. Now you've got the penalties, the fight.
Yeah,
a minute and 3 seconds left of penalty time, by the way.
We got another discussion going on between the officials.
That's why they held up the face-off there. I was wondering. Denny to Hoagland. Hoagland throws that one down. Going to try and lay chase to it here are the Dashers. It's played from behind by Jordan Brandt.
I think the officials want to make sure they don't let this one get out of hand with some of the stuff that's been going on after the plays.
Yeah, and that one shouldn't come back. That's a light tripping call there on Fred Hine.
All the way from the trailing official. The official that was right in front of the play did not see it as an infraction.
It's actually going to be a slashing call. Was the signal made? It should be a trip. But there we go.
This is going to get very dangerous now for the next 43 seconds with some 5-on-3 power play. Dashers need to hold off this first 43 seconds.
Tough sledding here with the 5-on-3. Duncan from the point. Duncan over to Stuart Dant. Back behind the net there to Farrington to Stuart Dant. Back to Duncan to Stuart Dant. A shot that's redirected out by Gordachuk. Atkins able to come down with it.
Take it down in front of the net.
A big hit there. No call on that. Brad Denny trying to get this puck out of play. Usually you'll get the benefit of the doubt there in the 5-on-3. The Dashers pushing this one down the boards. That one's out of the zone. A nice decision there to get the shift change as well. On that was Atkins, making a great impression in his first game here. Menor carries that one behind. Gordachuk's down on the ice. He's taken out.
Yeah,
and we're going to have some penalties on the end of this one.
Dirty play behind the scenes there. Taking the legs out and jumping on the top of the goaltender.
Hoagland with the body slam. Hoagland did not like his goaltender being messed with one bit, and he has taken I do believe Clausen down to the ground in a hurry.
Yeah, you have to defend your goaltender at all costs there.
Clausen going to be making his way to the penalty box. So is Hoagland. Those will just be 5 minutes for fighting, you would think. Don't think we'll see any added penalties on that. And that's twice now Gordichuk's been run into as well. So you do wonder.
I wonder if you're going to see a penalty on Clausen for messing with the goaltender there, because that could have been called, got a bunch of different ways you can go with that one.
Yeah, and the one thing that plays to the benefit there, the puck was in front of the goal, so it's definitely possible we don't see anything there. Looks like it's just going to be 5 for fighting for both.
Running out of space on the scoreboard here at the David S. Palmer Arena, but we're only 2 seconds away from that first penalty being over.
Yeah, so that did a trick of killing the time. I actually think that clock was running during that whole altercation, so I don't think it was stopped right away. But we're back to 5-on-4. A shot from the corner there from Daniliuk.
Levi doing a good job of hustling out of the box to play that one.
The on-ice official happened to be in the middle of that one, as Levi would have had a breakaway on the other side. Gordichuk playing that one dangerously as it's shot down the ice. That's actually going to be a shot on goal there for Gordichuk on Jordan Brandt. Goalie testing goalie.
Only 50 seconds left on the power play now.
Menor looks to capitalize on this one. You got to think they really want to score on this one. They had a 5-on-3. Icing waved off there.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be an icing.
Coming back now, Butita had it on the outside. Daniliuk. Daniliuk on it again. A shot from the point. Trying to tip it in there is Morrow. Ooh. He's thrown down to the ice by Alex Palmerville.
Good job of defending the front of the net.
Gullo and Atkins going to get called for the offside there. Just unable to link off time-wise.
26 seconds left in the penalty. This is a big, big kill for the Dashers. They could finish this one off.
Worth mentioning, these penalty kills brought to you by ServPro. They thank ServPro for their sponsorship here with the Danville Dashers. Last year, this year, in a couple of years.
I saw the folks at ServPro at the grand opening of the Robinson Chiropractic Clinic in Westville the other day, too.
That was a delayed offside there, not a delayed penalty, as we got 12 seconds left of penalty kill here for the Dashers. 15:22 left to go in the game. Essery carries across the blue line. Dumps it off to pretty much nobody except Stuart Dan ends up with it. The Dashers
good job.
Content to send this one down as far as Brandt.
And we're back to 5-on-5 hockey.
After that whole altercation, now the only guys in the box are the ones that are in there for fighting. As a big helmet delaying hit comes there. And laying that hit was Quintos, who's probably not very happy to have a goal disallowed. Puck skips around the backside of the net there. A huge hit there on Nick Gullo. Laying the boom there was Nathan Farrington.
Both teams getting more and more aggressive as this game wears on.
A scrum here going into the side. Essery ends up with it, but only for a minute. He passes it down to Farrington, who can't get a hold on it. Fred Hines going to send this one down here. It looks like we're going to have a stoppage for icing. Probably just an attempt to get that one out of the zone for a minute. Let you regroup here and get that. You'll suffer an icing. You got relatively fresh legs out there. Murray, Quintos, Hine, Denny, as well as I think Nick Gullo out there. Hoagland back into the box now, as well as number 23, Vaughn Clouston.
And we finally got an empty penalty box.
Feels like forever. Face off to the right, won by Menor. Barely able to keep that one in. A nice defensive play there by Joseph Keenan. A fight along the boards here. Fred Hine able to get it out of the defensive zone. It's shot back down. A nice wrist slap shot there almost. As Menor ends up with this one in the corner. A pass from the point, almost able to be redirected in. Instead, Hine ends up with it. Now coming back the other way is Isaiah Crawford.
Another bad job trying to clear, but here the Dashers have an advantage.
Tipped out of the zone. The Dashers on the run. He hits the ice. No penalty called there, as a stick's gone as well. A pass to the point to Denny. That's kept out of the zone, and Menor's going to have a break the other way. Coming the other way was Jackson Tucker and Isaiah Crawford. Now Jackson Tucker's going to bring it around as the Dashers try and poke this one away from him. They're almost successful as that one's wrapped around the goal there by Morrow, who puts a stick in the back of Alex Palmerville there, trying to push him off the puck. A nice stretch pass there from Palmerville as a shot on goal is wide right there. Off the stick of Christos Bormanis.
Those stretch passes working great against the pressure.
Palmerville turns it over to Conway. Conway has got a 2-on-1. He passes to the flank there. A shot on goal by John Butita. Nice defensive effort there from the Dashers. And coming the other way, Levi Armstrong's not going to have numbers on this one, but he's going to have a chance. A shot goes wide right and behind the net there as we've got some back and forth hockey. Butita coming the other way now, skates it into the zone. A nice stick deke there to keep a hold of it as he's going to set up there. Well worked off by Levi Armstrong, who comes back from the offensive zone to play some defense. This one's going to be chased up by Nick Gullo trying to race to the puck.
Great job by Levi Armstrong breaking up a big opportunity for Menor.
Morrow almost had a chance there. Instead, it's going to go behind Gordachuk. Slung around the line there by Palmerville. A shot on goal attempt.
Look out.
That was John Butita that had it. Lead point scorer for this Menor team. It's out of the offensive zone, but Butita's going to recollect it and come back again. He's got Essery to his right. Instead, holds Farrington trying to add some kind of help here. Butita can't get the puck off of his stick, though. Essery on it now, going to try and wrap around. Essery brings it back. He's pushed hard into the boards, head first, but good to see him get back up quickly. Another behind the puck play here. Essery with a big, a huge slam onto the ground. That was a head straight to the ice.
Ouch.
Seth Ensor.
And they are not letting up either. Both the two officials down on the ice with the two players, and now the official takes a tumble.
Ensor and Essery going at it very hard after that hit there. It's no doubt Essery going to be taken off the ice.
Wow.
With 12 minutes and 5 seconds left, one of the Menor Icebreakers' most promising offensive players has been taken off the ice.
Wow.
He was sent off. Fred Hine, Brody Duncan going to get an inform on what's going on here, and we've got another Menor Icebreaker in the box as well. You got to think that's from something separate. It is going to be Ensor in the back. He's put on a nice defensive shift so far tonight for the Dashers. I got to say, Dennis, I've called a few hockey games now over the last 2 seasons. This might be the craziest one.
Yeah, this is getting to be quite a crazy exchange of very physical play. The referee is doing a good job trying to keep this game under control, but both teams, there's no love lost between these two teams already this season, and it's very obvious. It's going to be very interesting to see if there's an instigation penalty given here or something, or if it's just going to be plain fighting and we're going to still be 5-on-5. From the looks of it, we're coming down to the Menor end of the rink, so I think we might end up on a power play here.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this one turns out. We didn't really get to see everything that happened there. I will tell you what's happening right now is quite hilarious, though. There's a kid with a shark head down by the Menor Icebreakers penalty box. That is wonderful. Get a quick little shot of that for us. He's running back up the steps now. That was wonderful. And we're going to see a face-off here as the Dashers go on a Jenniworth power play. Hine on it in the corner now. Back to Denny. Denny over with Palmerville out there. Denny holds to Hine. Hine on it in the corner. Hine with a shot that goes around the boards. It's going to come all the way back for Palmerville. Collected by Gordachuk. 2 minutes for cross-checking, the final call here.
That makes sense.
Dennis, I don't know what makes sense anymore. Men are going to end up with this one coming the other way now.
Uh-oh, look out. This is trouble.
Some nice defense there from Palmerville going up against Brody Duncan, who had a nice stick deke. Now Danville going to be on the run. Hine with it. That's just who you want it the hands of. Hine dumps it down. Menor able to nicely clear this one as they get a shift change.
Men are doing a good job of rubbing Freddie out of that play.
Palmerville, the stretch pass here. That's going to be taken quickly away by Menor, doing a great job being stingy, getting the puck right back. An errant pass there, not going to get as far as the blue line. Brad Denny with a nice stick check to get that one, but that one off the stick of Alfonso Diaz, one of the starting defensemen for Menor, going to be able to get all the way down the ice.
45 seconds left in the Dashers power play.
10:46 left to go in the game. Plenty of time here.
Ooh, good aggressive move by the Dashers, but Menor's defense.
They're holding strong, and you see why they're one of the better penalty kill teams in the league. Quintos carries around a back-heeled pass, doesn't go anywhere. It's stopped by Hoagland, who does a heck of a job to keep them on side. Gullo and playing some nice back and forth there. A stick lost by a Menor defenseman, and the goal
right
almost there in front of the goal. There was a nice opportunity for the Dashers. Gullo on it now, plays it down. Gullo back on it. Back out to Hoagland. Hoagland winds up for a shot. Almost redirected, open net, no goal. It did not quite get there. Nobody there to put it home on the clear side of the net. Menor playing some tough defense here in the penalty kill. Back on it now, Tyler Quintos.
Nice mix and match line here for the Dashers.
Rocket of a shot from the left corner there off the stick of Barakov.
Back to even strength.
A nice penalty kill there by the Menor Icebreakers in a crucial moment. Looking for a stretch pass. Morrow's going to find himself on the end of this one. Pushed into the boards there by Hawgood.
Somebody's poking the bear. Kind of more action behind the scenes here.
Not surprising the way this game has gone, that's for sure.
Kind of roughing up Bormanis behind the play there, and I thought there was going to be something of it.
Big clean hit there by Palmerville does enough for the Dashers to clear the zone. Tipped up, so no icing. A stretch pass, unable to find anyone there off the stick of Henry Berger, who's had a solid night tonight.
A lot of jawing going on behind every play right now. These two teams are really playing a very physical hockey game. And I think they're kind of fed up with each other. And hey, guess what, guys? You get to do it again tomorrow night.
It's only night one. It's only night one. Face off here to the left of Jordan Brandt. I almost said Roudebush.
Yeah.
He's no longer on the ice or in the box.
Might be getting a few stitches at the local hospital right now.
Almost a beautiful stretch pass there to Zach McKenna, just unable to corral it. Instead, carrying it on here was Palmerville. He's tripped up nicely there by Farrington. Conway with a nice fake shot there. A pass across the front of the goal only finds the stick there of the Dasher defense. Carrying it across now, Mitch Atkins. Atkins loses it up. Fred Hine does just enough to get on the other end of it. A big open ice hit there by Brad Denny. Atkins on it now. Atkins to Gullo. Out to Conway as Menor is able to recover just a little bit. Conway going to get a shift change here as the Dashers have it in their own defensive end. Fred Hine still waits at the front, and he's going to come back for a shift change as well as that's pulled back by Nick Gullo up to Ensor.
Lead in the game and the momentum in the favor of the Dashers right now.
Kind of a floppy shot there off the stick of Barakov, actually. He finds up in Jordan Brandt's hand.
Didn't quite get all of that one, but this will get us our media break finally with 7:59 left in the third. Boy, this has been an exciting game, Nate, and a very, very physical game, and they do it all again tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see if this, shall we say it, not very holiday-like mood continues or even gets worse tomorrow.
They're feeling a spirit, but I'm not so sure it's the Christmas spirit.
I think there's a few guys tonight that have gotten on Santa's naughty list.
Mark Essery, one of them. He's been on the referee's naughty list. He's out of the game. A few guys that arguably could be out of the game from both sides of the benches. It's been a very physical game, which is hilarious because the first two periods started off so clean and so fast.
Who is that in the penalty box for the Dashers right now?
That looks like Seth Ensor, I do believe.
Finishing up his penalty time from before, perhaps?
Yeah, that would make sense. Actually, that's Nigel Slade, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
That's...
He must have had a 10-minute misconduct or something that he's still wearing off.
Still serving for it. Must end by the end of the game, though, or he would be off the ice.
Yeah.
As the Dashers control it in their offensive end here, Brad Denny going to end up on the end of this one. He passes through the slot there. A blown tire. The result. Now on the end of it, Murray. Murray with a nice pass to Barakov. Finds Quintos to Gullo. Gullo with some space. Quintos getting cleared from in front of the net. A nice job heads up there by Alfonso Diaz for Menor.
Down to 7:30 left in regulation.
Murray trying to intercept a pass there. Instead, it's going to come the other way. Conway had it for just a second. Now Barakov doing a nice job tracking back and helping out the defense. He's going to get the reward of it. He's got a pass here in front. Some nice stick movement to get through, but can't hang on to it in the end. Men are able to chip this one out as far as Murray, who passes over to Denny. We've had a few defensive partner shift changes so far for the Dashers tonight with fights and penalties and everything else. Atkins tries to use the boards to get around. Instead, it's going to be cleared to Barakov, who fights for it there. It's going to end up on the stick of Dmitry Zaniliuk.
Once again tonight, the Dashers with a thin roster because of injuries, but showing good, strong legs late here in the third.
That one coming back here.
Icing on the play against the Dashers. The face-off will come all the way down to the left-hand side of Jesse Gordachuk.
That one's dumped all the way down. We might have another icing here, and we will. And that one's going to come back on the Dashers side of things.
Yeah, it'll be back down as if we didn't even have that last face-off.
Right back down here, taking the face-off, Farrington for Menor. On the other side of it was
Whipped.
Mitch Atkins taking it for Danville. Down in the corner with it, number 26, Joseph Keenan. Keenan turns the puck over there a little bit as Hoagland's playing some tough defense. Atkins tries to sling this one around the boards to Tesserero, who's got 2 goals on the night. Almost easy to forget that those 2 goals even happened if you don't look at the scoreboard. That feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah, this third period is taking a while.
Stuart Dant carries it across with some nice stick work. Has a shot on net, because why not? You got it that far. Might as well take a risk there. Gordachuk able to get away with it. Oh, that shot off the stick of Nate Farrington and goes up and into the netting. Just not the right netting.
And didn't have any help from a Dasher stick, so this one should come out to neutral ice, I would guess. And it looks like I'm guessing wrong. Under 6 minutes to play now in regulation. The Dashers need to win this faceoff.
5:58 left to go, 3-2. This game feels like it could be high scoring even in the remaining 5 and almost 6 minutes.
Teams have been very aggressive with the rink-to-rink end of the play here.
Quintos able to corral this one on the Danville defensive zone. That pass nicely intercepted there by Pinkowski as the Dashers.
Oh, just took a shot to the face.
Big shot to the face. Isaiah
Crawford's going to the box.
He's going to the box, and the Dashers want to give him a beating while they're at it.
Yeah, that was a dirty play behind the scenes. No need for that with the stick up into the face. And I think it was the newcomer Quintos that got hit.
I think it was as well. I thought it might have been Fred Hine at first, but Hine's over on the bench. And I don't think the player's gotten up, has he? Yeah, he has.
He got up. He was very
fast.
Yeah, he was kind of stunned when he fell down on the ice. That was a dirty play behind the scenes by Crawford. And also a bad time for such a thing. We're down to 5:33. Your team is down by 1, and you take a cheap penalty there along the boards. But the Dashers will like this penalty play because they can put this game away now if they can cash in.
On the Kenilworth power play.
The Menor has been real stingy all season long.
Yeah, they have, and they've been great tonight as well on the power play. We'll talk about the exact specifics a little bit later on after the game when it all comes out, but they have been good so far tonight.
An 86% kill rate going into tonight is fantastic.
Oh, a huge shot there from Palmerville. You don't often see him unleash the cannon, but he does sometimes. Oh, Palmerville's pass almost tipped up by Atkins. Instead, it comes out to Hine. Hine throws it through to Tesserero, but it's in a crowd of bodies. It's going to come back out to Brad Denny as they keep it in the offensive zone. Hine with a shot, and if that pass had found Atkins, he had an open net to the right there.
Totally. Great idea, and defense for Menor was slow reacting.
Tesserero ends up with his own pass off the stick of the Menor defenseman.
AJ
Fred Hine just sent the defenseman flying there. On the other end of that was Alexander Morrow. He's actually a forward, so we'll give him some credit. Tesserero behind trying to pick his pass. Hine on it.
Good job of reading this defense and working the puck around.
And an equal job there by Menor of adjusting to things. Tesserero trying to look for his third there. A nice save by Jordan Brandt, just not quite a hard enough shot.
Didn't quite get all of it, but AJ trying to cash in. He's had a fantastic game tonight. Not used to seeing him without a beard, though.
No, it's hard, especially the mustache, too. That's what I used to identify him for a long time. Danville barely able to keep that one in. That was nice work by John Butita to try and get in the way of it.
Maybe we can talk the boys into having a no shave for Noel.
Yeah, that was a shot there from number 61, Bormanis, that gets swallowed up nicely by Jordan Brandt. Jordan Brandt's been doing a good job tonight since coming in relief for the bloodied up Roudebush.
Tough to come in off the bench cold like this, and he has done a fantastic job.
It certainly is. Kudos to him. A tough situation there with Roudebush, who, if he hasn't come back out yet, he must have also been thrown out of the game perhaps, or maybe he was just cut up bad enough. He walked off on his own power, though, so that's good to see. Hoagland misplays that one. Conway going to try and get to it. Conway blocks a pass. Conway going to have the chance for a backhand instead. Nicely disposed of there by the Dashers, who are going to have a break. It's Barakov coming through. Barakov over to Bormanis. Bormanis with a shot off the pad of Jordan Brandt.
Had him beat, but wide.
Nice work there from Nick Gullo to keep the offensive possession going.
20 seconds left in the power play.
Gullo back to Bormanis. To Gullo. A shot from the point of Hoagland. Almost an own goal off the shoulder of Joseph Keenan. Instead, it's dealt with nicely there.
That one had to hurt, too.
Yeah, that one right on the funny bone. Definitely didn't feel good. Tesserero almost bags his third. It's down and to the right of Brandt. Instead, Menor going to have numbers on the run here. Butita carries. His pass is deflected there. Some nice defensive work from Hoagland.
Back to full strength.
Big shift here as we see the back to full strength, as well as 2 total shift changes here from both sides. Now carrying it back here, number 18, Henry Berger. Berger with a shot that goes off the skate of Palmerville. Murray fighting for it along the boards there against Jackson Tucker. Murray ends up winning it, shooting it along the glass. It's going to be a fight here between Farrington and Hine.
Down to
top
3 minutes.
Scorers.
3 minutes left.
Atkins corrals it behind the defensive line. Off the boards. Just a little bit too far, but Hine able to dump it back down the ice. Atkins going to try and run for that one. Instead, it's going to be tipped along the boards by Menor's defense. Going to find Morrow. Gullo took a little bit of a shot there with the puck, but he's able to get back up.
After just about every play after the play, we're seeing an extra little elbow, little extra check, little extra stick work.
And Gullo almost finds Barakov, or Bormanis, who would have had an open shot on goal just because of the nature of coming back behind the net to play the puck, was Jordan Brandt. Some very, very strange back and forth here. Not a lot of collective passing after we saw some great passing earlier on in the game.
I think legs are getting a little tired here late in the third.
I think so. That shot almost redirected there by Alexander Morrow.
2 minutes left in regulation.
A couple more puck freezes in store here, it would appear. If he can
big
get to
chance,
it,
big
Barakov's
chance.
going to have a big chance here. He fires it wide left. He's tied up as well. He complains a little bit to the referee on the end of that one. Christers Bormanis had a shot, and a rocket of a shot off the stick there of Alexander Morrow, as swallowed up by Jesse Gordachuk. Gordachuk, 2 goals let in on the night, 141. One of those goals he didn't have a shot at. 141 left here in the third period.
Yeah, that first goal of the night for Menor was just one of those deals where a perfect pass and a perfect shot. But Gordachuk's been tough on those one-timers all night long and all season long.
A small crowd here tonight, relatively, but still a very loud crowd. It's one thing I've noticed from the Dasher faithful.
Quite a few horns and cowbells in the crowd, as always.
That's one way to make up for a little bit of a dead night. You got to think tomorrow night's going to be a huge crowd.
Oh, big trouble here.
Almost
big
an
trouble.
own goal opportunity there. Gordachuk just kind of had to fall flat and get it out. Hine gets slashed a little bit. He's a little bit upset
clear.
about that. He gets it out of the zone.
Oh, here we got a little action behind the scenes again, and a big hit.
That was a huge hit there, and that was Murray putting Zach McKenna into the ground in almost a choke slam kind of a hit.
Nice play by the Dashers defense recovering there.
This one's getting physical here with 56 seconds left to go. That puck's just thrown down the ice. Not going to be able to let it go for an icing is Brandt.
50 seconds left.
With a chance here, Morrow. Or McKenna. McKenna thrown to the ground by Brad Denny.
Nothing. No play, or no call on the play.
And McKenna swallowing this one up on the side. Passing it out now. Men are going to try and take one last
Extra
crack
shooter,
at it here.
extra skater on the ice, empty net.
Goalie
for
has been
Menor.
pulled. 30 seconds left to go in the game. Palmerville ends up with it. Palmerville throws it around. He's trying to find his offense. Instead, the extra man ends up getting it from Menor. This one's tied up along the boards here. On it now is Zach McKenna.
17 seconds.
Menor unable to string anything through. Daniliuk with a shot from the point.
10 seconds.
Bormanis has open space, and he tries to put it in the net. Bar down, but no goal. Bar down as perfect as you could like, but doesn't find the goal.
That's going to do it, though.
And the Dashers take a tough, close, physical win here at home.
Impressive performance by your Danville Dashers tonight. This was a hard-fought, hard-earned victory in front of a very enthusiastic crowd.
It was indeed that. A crazy game, a bit of a physical game, but also one played with a lot of tact and skill. I mean, both sides creating chances where they really had to work the goalies. I mean, not a lot of lucky goals coming to the end of this, and that's what you like to see. That's good hockey.
Referees doing a good job after the game of making sure that the teams stay well separated as the Danville Dashers salute and celebrate with their fans. No doubt who the #1 star is going to be tonight. He cashed in with 2 goals early.
Yeah, without a doubt. I was just looking at some of the things going on in the aftermath there. A couple words exchanged to the referees, but other than that, not really any complaints. Just kind of got to go with the flow at this point. You're not going to change anything post-game, but yeah, AJ Tesserero coming in as a veteran returning to his former team, the Danville Dashers, and notching 2 goals on the night, including the go-ahead goal the first time before we were back level at 2-2. And then Fred Hine, the man himself, that's exactly who you'd expect, putting the Dashers up for good. 3-2, the final score here at the David S. Palmer Arena.
AJ Tesserero brings such an enthusiasm to this team.
And Fred Hine with the 3rd star as the go-ahead goal scorer. Alex Palmerville going to get the 2nd star. That's expected.
That means we're going to sweep the
Seth
stars
Ensor,
tonight.
actually. Seth Ensor with the 2nd star as he had 2 assists. Palmerville had just 1. AJ Tesserero, and the fans are going to love this one. Tessie getting a little bit of appreciation here to the Dasher fans in attendance. You gotta love that. Man, a close win there from the Dashers. Tomorrow night is going to be fun.
Very physical game here tonight. Two very, very strong teams. And they kind of wanted to show who was the more dominant player along the boards, with a little bit of shenanigans after the play early and often in this one. Did lead to some pretty outstanding fights, I must say, including maybe the best goalie fight that we have seen in quite some time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We almost saw another goalie fight if Jesse Gordachuk had had his way with things. Well, what that does to the standings here tonight, Menor is now 6 points behind Watertown. The final result for Watertown's game, they also lost tonight, so Menor getting a little bit of a break there. The Danbury Hat Tricks were at home and took on the Delaware Thunder, took them down in a 10-goal game, a score of 6-4.
Wow.
Battle Creek falling in what I heard was a little bit out of a hand game in the long term, with several penalties, several instigations, several game misconducts, 7-0 in Battle Creek. Port Huron beating the River Dragons 4-2 there in Columbus, and of course the scoreline right here, 3-2, the Danville Dashers winning the first game of the weekend. We'll go again at it tomorrow, right here at home.
I was very impressed with the Danville Dashers again tonight. Seemed like they were a little just missing on the passing crispness early in each period tonight. But overall, from start to finish, we didn't see that lull that we've kind of gotten used to seeing. Menor came out very strong early on, showing a lot of pressure, and the Dashers kind of wilted early to that, but quickly adjusted and realized if they made that big, long, aggressive stretch pass, they could beat the pressure and turn that into an advantage for themselves. Very impressed with how the Danville Dashers reacted to a very, very tough start of the game tonight. And it led to a very hard-fought victory for your Danville Dashers.
The Dashers now sit still in second place, but a big win tonight as they're only 2 points ahead of the Port Huron Prowlers. So going to be a big race, and they're only 3 points ahead of the Columbus River Dragons, who they've yet to face on the year. It'll be a lot of fun when those two teams meet for the first time. A lot of good ties between those two teams. Should be fun and very competitive. Regardless, obviously Carolina well ahead now. 39 points, 13 wins, and 1 loss is on a similar run to what we saw last year. Now the Dashers are up to 7-7, 500 on the year with 21 points overall. Port Huron 5-6 with 2 overtime wins. So it's going to be a tight race. The West is honestly kind of up for grabs behind Carolina, and this year's seeding in the playoffs is really going to matter, as only 2 teams aren't going to make the playoffs. And we're going to see some fights down the line. That'll be very, very fun to watch. A lot of season left to go here in the FPHL.
And the East Division, with Elmira winning tonight, gets very crowded in second place behind Watertown. So we've got some interesting battles. There's 2 teams at the bottom of each division and 2 teams at the top of each division that seem to be the strength right now. But a big, big fight for the rest of the positions. And I have a feeling somewhere along the line we're going to see Carolina and Watertown stumble a little more, and I think we're going to see a better race for the lead spot here as time wears on. But very, very impressed with the Danville Dashers tonight, and this is a big, big win in the battle of the second-place teams coming into tonight.
Without a doubt, it's a long season here in the FPHL, and, well, we're going to take another night off of it. We're going to thank you for joining us here at the David S. Palmer Arena. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Come back tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun if tonight's any indication. Good hockey, fast skating, big punches, big hits. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we will see you tomorrow night.